Here we go, Thursday night. Oh, what a night. Great to see everybody here. We had an unbelievable week last week. Honestly, we've always been saying we've been missing out on E3. That may have been the closest we've ever gotten to getting back to E3. And if that's the way these summers are going to go, we are all in for a treat every single year, especially as we go into the rest of 26 and here into 27 with the games seemingly taking no breaks at all. Shout out to all you guys there. If I sound a little tired, it might be because of the New York Knicks winning last night, huh? All right, everybody. That's right. Jay, I know you're excited. I know Jay's excited.
You know it. You know it.
Shout out to Strictly. I see Strictly out there. I see a bunch of you guys out there. I think I hope it ends in 5, but I got a feeling we may have to be going back to the Garden. We'll see what happens. That being said, we won't talk sports too long tonight. We got a great panel for you guys, as you can see. A special guest in Mag here tonight because Mag was actually there live. It's going to be a lot of fun to talk to him tonight. Please do take a second, guys. Hit that like button while you're here. Tweet it out. Let everybody know that we are live here in New York. It is going to be a fantastic CrossFire for you. And look at that great description. Right above that's the join button. Please consider joining. It would mean the world to me, and it really does help out the channel. That being said, let's get to this fantastic panel. The great Death Singer is back with us tonight. DS, I know that I saw you causing a commotion again on Twitter over the weekend. It's unbelievable. He's going to change his name from DS to Firestarter. He'll go to FS. That's what's going to happen very, very soon, Jay. Trust me. Exactly. The great DS is with us. DS, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing great. It's weird these days. Some people can't handle an opinion, which is crazy to me. Especially when some of these people argue me out, like, fathers and kids and stuff, and it's like...
Welcome to the internet.
Aren't you supposed to be like a fully grown man with kids and shit? Like, what are we doing here, my guy? Like, you covered up me with all this over my opinion.
Yes.
It's not even about a video game. It's just an opinion.
It is an opinion.
Even crazier.
Yes.
Like,
they don't take it that well. They don't take it that well. They really, really don't.
I actually think they take it less well now than they did back last gen.
You're not allowed to have opinions
unless
they match directly with their opinion.
That's correct.
Don't you know how the world works?
That is correct.
You know what I mean? That's how it is.
Yo, so great to have you here, DS. The great Mag is with us. Mag, wonderful to have you here. I know that you said you're going to be here for the top of the hour. If we go 3 hours, does that count for 2? Nonetheless, listen,
don't get ridiculous.
It's Mooch math. It's Mooch math. Moochonomics. The test is next Thursday, right. Mag. Mag, listen, great to have you, buddy. How you doing tonight?
Yeah. I'm good. Yeah, still tired and messed up from the trip. It was like 18-hour days every day. The time difference on top of it, the 3-hour time difference, the traveling. I was just wiped out. And then I was doing all the vlogs for the trip and everything else. So I was working on that every night, half drunk in my hotel bed, trying to edit those videos and everything. So we're back here. I did my show on Tuesday. I joined Colt for he was doing a solo cast yesterday. I joined him for 2 hours, and then I'm just like I got actual other work that I have to do.
Yeah.
So
there's other things
on top of all this, right? So, but anyway, it's been wild, man. It was a crazy weekend, and just so much going on, and it was really eye-opening in a lot of different ways. But we can get into that later.
Well, Mag, I can't wait. We can't wait to discuss it with you, buddy, because you were boots on the ground, buddy. So that's fantastic. The great J-Dub is with us. Jay is always multitasking. He's doing things even when you don't realize. You think he's just podcasting? No, not this man. He's traveling across the country. J-Dub, great to have you with us tonight, buddy. How you doing?
Doing good, man. Doing good.
Good to have you, man. I know you did a lot of shows last week, too. You were probably as exhausted as I am.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Can't wait for the topics today.
Yes, sir. Yes, we got a lot to talk about and very little time to do it. And speaking of little time, but he has more sand in the hourglass than anybody I know. The great Nib is with us tonight. And not only is Nib's also multitasking. Nib, you're also going to podcast and probably get a platinum at the same time. Nib, how you doing, buddy?
Yeah, not too bad. I am not stopping. I'm eating.
we can hear that. That's great. He's always multitasking. Always. Well, listen, let's get started right away. I want to get Mag in here. Mag, listen, I want to kind of break the show down as such. I want to talk about your experience, what you saw, what you didn't see. Listen, I know I watched your vlogs. I know what you can and cannot say, so I'm not going to go ahead and prompt you 100 times with, well, tell us more. Well, tell us more. I know you're under NDA and a lot of different things. You can discuss titles, but maybe not in detail. That's fine. But the experience, everything that went on over there, what is it for the folks that are at home listening right now that don't know? What is the experience like over there? The Xbox show, the Summer Game Fest, etc. How was your time?
It was amazing. I mean, honestly, it was so overwhelming and so like just the stimulate too overstimulated was the word I like to use about that, because it was just everywhere you turn, it was somebody either famous or somebody, some executive or some big YouTuber or this and that. Like I even went out at one point, we were at a bar on Thursday night, right at LA Live, and I just backed into a chair and it was Jason Schreier. I backed into his chair by accident and he's sitting behind me.
He probably blocked you on Twitter after that. Go ahead, please.
Yeah.
Yes.
That was actually the joke that was going around. And then he was sitting with Christopher Dring. They were having a drink together, hanging out, this and that. You turn around, here's Paris, here's this guy, here's that guy, here's I just walked by and I'm like, oh, hey, Skill Up, how's it going? Like, you know what I mean? Like, it was totally wild.
Oh, that's awesome.
And
very cool.
Yeah, it was amazing. And then obviously we did the showcase. We did the Summer Games Fest on the Friday in Hollywood. And Keeley obviously did his thing. He did an incredible job. And Snoop Dogg was there and all that jazz. Then we went to an IOI interactive event at the Roosevelt Hotel, also on Hollywood Boulevard. And that's a whole lock and key. I can't talk about any of that. The only thing we could talk about, it had to do with Hitman and its future, and also with 007 and its future. So we got this whole behind closed doors red carpet event on the roof. And, live music and all kinds of cool stuff. It was amazing. The actors from the 007 game were there, and it was wild, man. And then that spilled into Saturday, Days of Play. Days of Play was pretty amazing, actually. It was pretty funny because at one point I'm standing there, I'm talking, and Colt is on my right side, and this guy comes up to me, and I didn't even see his face. And he goes, hey, guys. He goes, did you guys like the show yesterday? I turn around. It was Jeff Keighley.
Wow.
So Jeff Keighley's standing right there. I'm like, oh, hey, Jeff, how's it going? I shook his hand, talked to him. He was having a coffee. And I'm just like, I told him right to his face, and I'm like, and thank God I got to talk to him. And I'm like, you know what, Jeff, I guess I just want to tell you something, man. I said, thank you for bringing back E3 in your own way. I said, because without you, I said, I know you get a lot of criticisms and everything else. I said, but I got to tell you, man, I said, if it wasn't for you, none of this would happen. There'd be no Game Awards. There'd be no Summer Games Fest. There'd be nothing.
No.
There wouldn't be anybody traveling to LA. There wouldn't be celebrations. And I'm like, I just wanted to thank you. I'm like, thank you in person. And and you know what the thing?
I'm glad you did that, dude. I'm glad you did that.
Absolutely.
I had to.
It's true.
And I even said to him, and you know the thing is, instead of giving me like the celebrity response of thank you very much for your support and walk away, he literally leaned in and like smiled and he's like, hey man, he goes, that really means a lot to me. And he goes, thank you so much. I really appreciate it, whatever. So anyways, there's this other tall dude standing like a giraffe, like on my left as I'm talking to Keeley. He's coming in because he wanted to talk. He had to talk to Keeley about something, right? And I look over and there he is himself, the church lady. It was Cerny.
Mark Cerny.
So Mark Cerny's standing there, and I'm like, Mark, what the hell's going on here? And then Colt was talking to him for a few minutes, and then he came over to me. I shook his hand. Same thing. I told him, I said, hey, congratulations on all your past successes with Sony, and I look forward to seeing what's going on with the PlayStation 6 and all that. And he just smiled. He was so nice and gracious, and he's like, oh yeah, no, thank you so much for all the support, man. It was all great and whatever else. And then, I'm playing all the games and everything else throughout the day. And there's Cerny, there's Keeley. Then the Xbox entourage showed up because Asha showed up with Matt Booty and Aaron Greenberg and all that. And they were walking around. They had their little circle of security around them. And they're all talking to them too and talking to each other. And then you know the thing is, Mooch, and this would open my eyes to everything. Nobody cares about Twitter war bullshit. They don't care about YouTube. They don't care about. They're all friends. They're all talking to each other. There's Cerny talking to Greenberg. Oh, yeah, Gandalf was there too. So they're all hanging out talking. You know what I mean? Hey,
we've been saying this. We've been saying this for years. These guys are all having, Cavassier hanging out, partying at night. They're doing their thing. They're not really paying attention.
Yeah, even the content creators. There's PlayStation content creators, Xbox content creators. There's just neutral guys, whatever. Like Skill Up was there and hanging out, talking to this person. Actually, it was funny because Mr. Badbit was there. He was, and I was busting his chops. I'm like, "What are you doing over here?" and whatever, and having some fun with that. He was actually at the Xbox showcase too. And you know what? Do you think anybody called him a pony or something stupid like that because he was at an Xbox showcase? No. when you meet these people all in real life and you realize, I'm like, hey, these are all just human beings that really love the gaming industry, whatever they say on their podcast, whatever.
Right.
But I'm just saying, when you're there, you see it, and especially you see the higher levels, you're like, none of that stuff matters. You know what I mean? It's almost like it's almost laughable. So anyways, it was great. Saturday was amazing. Played a ton of games. I will be talking about my NDA for Star Wars Galactic Racer is up. I think June 23rd, I'm allowed to actually talk about it. They just sent me my B-roll of all the footage that I have. And I got to do that. I got
very
to play
excited
a bunch
for
of
that
games.
game. Very excited for that game.
Control Resonance was there. Silent Hill Townfall was there. Crimson Moon was there. Nakomi Nazi Hunter, Tomb Raider. These are all games I got to see and play. So as well as many others. So it was pretty amazing. I got to play Halo, the new, what is it called? Campaign Evolved. I got to play that and all kinds of stuff. And it was incredible. But Sunday, then Xbox. It was Xbox all day. And that was a lot of fun, man. A lot of enthusiasm. Like a lot of positivity there, regardless of what we're about to talk about tonight. But I'm just saying in general, like, it was a great show. It was entertaining. I had a good time. I got to hang out with Asha for a bit. I got to talk to her twice throughout the day. I got to talk to, I only talked to Matt Booty for like a couple of minutes. Gandalf I talked to for about 10 minutes. And he was hilarious. He's a funny dude. Aaron Greenberg was a wild man. I swear to God, I think that guy was like just jacked up on something, man. He was a wild man the whole day. Like, even when we were in line, you hear the screaming, right? You hear the screaming. I'm standing in to get into the theater, and this black Escalade rolls up, and he's half his body's hanging outside of the thing, and he's slamming his hands against the door, screaming, right? And it's like 7:30 in the morning. He's wearing sunglasses, and I'm like, I said, I don't think this guy went to bed. I think he's been partying all night at a club, and now he's coming in.
I was just gonna say he must be their party planner. I almost picture, like, when you said Greenberg showed up with the new entourage. I feel like he's like that player that gets traded to a new baseball team, and then every year he's got to walk in with a new crew. You know what I mean? And it's always like it's got to be uncomfortable to a certain degree. But he's all right with it. He don't care.
They were having a blast.
Yeah, he don't care.
But Asha was super, super nice to talk to. Talked to her twice. But I can tell you this, folks, looking right into her face and talking to this woman, I can tell you this. This woman stands on business. And I said that from day one. I said, listen, regardless of what people think or whatever else, or what she's about to do and everything else, it's not about any of that. It's about the fact that she's there to actually do something. And I'm telling you right now, and I said it before, I said, I got a feeling about this woman. Now that I actually talked to her twice throughout the day, once in the morning, and then I got to talk to her in the afternoon, later in the day. And I'm like, yeah, she means business. And I think that's going to come at the cost of people's feelings, right? It's going to come at the cost of, hopes and dreams or whatever. She's there for business, and she's going to, you know what I mean? And like I said, it's going to be a hard road for some people out there. Not me, but for some people out there, it's going to be a hell of a hard road and a very bitter pill to swallow for a lot of people once she starts implementing this stuff, which we will talk about tonight.
Yes. So Jay, I'll open it up. Jay, DS, Nib, anything you wanted to kind of ask Mag while he had boots on the ground there? He did that was a fantastic 5 minute.
Sorry, I have to do it as fast as possible.
No, Mag, it's fine.
Not anything that he could answer publicly, I don't think. Not anything that he could answer.
Well, yeah, let's keep it PG-13, Nib. Thank you.
Okay, how about this? How about I'll ask something you can answer without actually giving me the specifics of the answer. Okay. In terms of, like, let's just say even Asha Sharma, right? In terms of strategy going forward, exclusivity going forward, changes, whatever it is, to Game Pass, business model. When you were speaking to her, did you ever ask any of those things, and did she open up about any of it, or was it sort of just more cordial than that?
No, at first it was just cordial because we were just introducing each other for the first time. She knew who I was, which was terrifying, and I'm just going, oh my God, I hope she doesn't listen to Magcast. I'm sure she just watched me through Colt, right? Cordial at first. We did have a few conversations, but she kept it very guarded. And the reason why is because her... what is it called? The second 100 days or whatever the hell she's called. The next 100 days.
Yes.
That was part of it. And she's saving that for the interviews that she did later that night and into Monday morning and Tuesday as well, right? So she was kind of guarded about that stuff. I really don't want to dive too deep into what I talked about with her because, like, you know what I mean? It's kind of touchy stuff. So, but again, she was very... Like I said, she means business. I'll tell you that. I didn't get
two more questions then.
Sure.
2 more questions. One, the most distressing or disappointing news you heard that you can publicly share, and 2, the most exciting news that you did hear, or tidbit of information or whatever that you can also publicly share. So the most distressing, disappointing, and the most exciting.
Jesus, man.
I'm telling you right,
questions because I got to dance around. Nib's got
a show on NBC at 11:30 starting next Friday, so he knows how to interview.
Yeah, no kidding, right? Well, I can tell you this: there really wasn't much in the way of policy or anything like that was discussed during there because it was all about essentially. I know it's going to sound very, PR of me, but saying this, it was basically a celebration of games, right? So there wasn't too much about policy and things like that. However, I could tell you this: the most interesting thing that happened is that the Gears of War rug pull, that was starting to get out to a few of us on Saturday morning, the day before. And so we started, I'm not going to say who, but, and then of course, Grub picked it up later in the day. But we started hearing about that Saturday morning. There was about 3 of us that heard about it, 4 of us actually. And so, yeah, it became a thing. And that became like sort of the quiet drama of the day saying, are they actually going to do this rug pull? The thing is, Aaron Greenberg did say later the day, he says, we knew ahead of time and it kept to a very select group of people that it was done. However,
but it was only a month though. He was indicating roughly a month. That's not in game time. That's actually really last minute.
Yeah. So that was the only real exhilaration or drama outside of game reveals, right? Because I mean, game reveals like The Last Ronin. I think the Dolby Theater almost exploded. I mean, it was insane when they showed The Last Ronin on there.
Can I ask you two more questions then? Did anyone annoy you you didn't expect while you were there?
Annoy me?
Any content creators or anyone, any staff or any it could be from a studio or anything?
This is going to be so boring of an answer, but no.
Was anyone grating?
Nib, I'll be honest with you, that's a great question. But at an event like this, like Mag's saying, a lot of the stuff that we talk about and decipher on, whether it be X or it be on YouTube or Twitch, wherever you are, a lot of that goes by the way of the dodo bird, right? That doesn't happen anymore when you're in public.
The reason I was thinking is because I don't know if you remember that Angry Joe interview with Jeff.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
I just found that so funny when sometimes the ones who deal with that kind of content, they still try for something more abrasive and get bodied. It could be.
No. It was everybody was super cool. And it was kind of funny to watch all the content creators walking around the days of play on the Saturday because they're all walking around with their tripods and things and they're talking to themselves. Literally, there's hundreds of people just walking around talking to themselves because they're all filming themselves. Right?
That's gotta be a scene.
All these people dressed up in anime outfits and all this shit, and whatever, or just regular people or whatever, and they're all walking around with tripods and stuff. And it looked like an insane asylum, literally.
It's funny you mention that because.
I have 2 questions for you.
Go ahead, Diaz.
Did you see 2 particular games that I'm interested in?
Okay.
I don't know if you could talk about them, but if you just saw them, we'll do. Total War Warhammer 40K.
Yes, I did.
Mm-hmm.
Can you talk about it?
Nope.
Okay, fair enough.
Sorry, I can't.
And Star Wars Zero Company.
No, nothing about the only Star Wars that I got to actually play the game and see the game. And what was really fun is I actually got to talk to the director of the game. We talked for about 15 minutes. It was so cool. Just diving into it. And man, I got to tell you, that dude has got some serious passion for George Lucas Star Wars, not Disney Star Wars. George Lucas Star Wars, and we kind of geeked out for a bit there and talking about stuff. But we are on strict NDA with Lucasfilm for that one, and then
Hey, it's
I know. Obviously,
I gotta stop talking there. But
I'm not asking for impressions, but
see all of those. I did see both of those. Sorry. Yeah. Go ahead.
Did you get to play any or many of the newly revealed games?
Yes.
You did, yeah. Okay.
6 of them, and then 4 of them was just hands off. You go into a booth, not a booth, but like a room. Actually, I got a funny story. I will tell you this funny story. This is for Silent Hill Townfall.
Let's go. That's one of my anticipated games. Yes.
They send us in this thing, and they're like, "Okay, we got to go in here, whatever, And so I get in there, and they put me in this booth, right? Or not booth, this room, and it's surrounded by black curtains and all that kind of jazz, right? Mm-hmm. And they have these 6 captain's chairs, 3 on the bottom, and then 3 that are elevated up behind me, sort of like a VIP theater, right? And there's a big screen in there, and the director of Silent Hill Townfall is there with a microphone, and there's a girl in the corner with her PC in the corner, and she's playing the game live. and it's happening in front of us. So we're watching her play the game, and he's
That's
actually talking us through it. So this is where it gets funny. So the room is all designed like these guys go all out. It was like red lighting and spooky and like scary music playing like when you go inside the building to get to this thing.
Yep.
And they have like movie props of like it kind of looked like one of the rooms in like Last of Us 2. You know what I mean? Like
Yes.
dilapidated and all that kind of stuff. So you get in there and it's all spooky, right? So halfway through the demo, they turn on a dry ice machine, and half the room fills up with dry ice, so it looks like you're in Silent Hill.
Oh, that's nice.
So
Nice touch. Very
cool.
nice.
so cool. Well, here's what gets funny. So
That's
I'm
cool.
sitting there and I'm going, this is fucking awesome. I'm like, this is so cool. I feel like I'm in Silent Hill.
Yeah.
So they're playing the game. I'm covered in smoke, and the dude's talking. Doesn't the guy behind me just go into a hacking fit? He swallowed a whole mouthful of this stuff, right? And the guy's trying to be like all atmospheric. He goes, and here in Silent Hill Townfall, in the small town in Scotland. And this guy has this huge, like, asthmatic cough attack in the middle of this, like, thing.
That's great.
And he wouldn't stop. The guy had to stumble. Like, he got out of his chair and he had to stumble out of the theater and, like, disappeared. He never came back. And we were pissing ourselves laughing, the other 5 of us that were there. And it was so funny because actually he scared me when he started coughing more than the game did because he was right behind me. Right? That was really
That's
funny.
too funny, man.
Yeah, it was great. Tomb Raider, what Amazon Studios was on fire the whole weekend. The IOI Interactive thing with James Bond and, of course, with Hitman, and then doing the whole soiree red carpet event. They had like I don't know if you've seen my socials, you've seen like the videos I put up, like they did like glamour shots and all this stuff of everybody, free booze, free food, everything you wanted. And then Tomb Raider on the days of play, incredible. They gave us like Lara Croft satchel bags. You got to play the game, and then they had like a bar which was like dressed up like a jungle scene, and they had like mist and like light water mist pouring in, so you felt like you were having a drink in the middle of like the Amazon, and it was bananas. Nintendo was pretty badass. They were pretty cool. Although, you know what? You want to say, actually, there is one group of people that pissed me off. They were a bit dickish because I just went, like the place at one point was empty and I wanted to go check something out. They're like, sir, did you do your time slot? I'm like, yeah, I did my time slot. And they're like, okay, well, you can't come back in. I'm like, there's literally nobody here.
Yeah.
There's literally nobody there. And I'm like,
That's some bloody jobber who overly follows the rules.
Yeah.
So that's the one. That's the only one. Nintendo's a bit dickish,
Mag, I got a
the
question
rest
for
of
you.
them-
And so I watched your vlog, so I know you were discussing this when you were, especially when you were doing your merch bag, and you were going through it. You were like, I tried this. You're like, I tried that. You're like, I can't tell you. It's NDA. Here's the thing.
I know,
I'm a little bit confused on that thought. Like, you're there, you've played a snippet, right? You've played, I don't know, 5 minutes, you're playing 10 minutes, maybe you're playing 15 minutes, right?
Like half an hour to 45 minutes.
Half an hour, 45 minutes. Why wouldn't they want you to go back and discuss the games? It's not like you're going to be, what would you possibly ruin that you said you didn't like it? I mean, you could say you didn't like, I could say right now I didn't like a game because I saw the trailer and it turned me off.
Right.
Like, I don't
Yeah,
understand all the NDAs. It seems a bit over the top. There's no video.
I get it.
You know, it's not like you go, well, Mooch, no, I have video and I can't use the video and I can't give a narration. That I'm down. That makes perfect sense. But like, you don't have any video. You just have what your notes are and your memories.
Well, actually, I do have I don't have the video yet. What they do is while you're playing, so let's say you go into Amazon or whatever, right? You go into the Amazon Studio section and you sit down, you play the game or whatever. They record the B-roll for you. So they record your footage for you. And then what they do is they put it into a file. When the NDA is up, that file gets emailed to you. So then,
so like it's still
almost like a preview event.
I think that
Correct.
That's interesting. So Meg, that's a great. Thank you for explaining that. That I didn't know. I still think my point is semi holds water because you don't have the footage, so it's you just giving your opinion on the game.
Right. Yeah. So like I have to wait. Like, for example, I'll give you an example. Like Star Wars.
Yeah, but Mooch, gameplay is different from trailer, dude. Gameplay, he's actually experiencing how it feels. The mechanics of it.
That's fair. No, that's fair.
I would say that's
fair.
a bit more sensitive.
Okay.
So what's happening right now? Like, for example, Star Wars Galactic Racer. The NDA for that one is up on June 23rd. So June 23rd, I get an email with the B-roll of like the footage of what I played. And I'm allowed to speak on whatever I experienced at that whatever. Once that is lifted, right? And then every other game subsequently, they give a different date. All of a sudden, July 1st, you could talk about this game. They send me in the B-roll. Silent Hill Townfall, July 9th, whatever their dates are. And then I just get emailed them. And then they give me B-roll, especially if I played them. Or they give you exclusive, gameplay that they have curated. And then they email it to you and you could use it for your videos and stuff like that.
That's actually outstanding. That's outstanding.
Yeah, that's how it works.
I'm not gonna lie to you. That's fantastic.
I know the next one I'm getting. The first one, not the next one. The first one I'm getting is going to be Star Wars Galactic Racer. What's funny is when I played Halo, though, because I went in there and I said, "Can I what's the story with the Halo?" The guy at the door goes, "We don't care. Just say whatever you want." He didn't give a shit at all. And then I'm like, "Can I film some stuff?" And he goes, "Yeah, go ahead. Who cares?"
This was the Halo.
They didn't care at all.
Halo CE.
Yeah.
He's probably like, everyone's been playing this for 20 years. Mag, have at it.
Yeah, exactly.
They didn't care.
Nothing to spoil.
There's nothing to spoil there.
Like, yeah, whatever.
That's actually very cool. That's a great attitude, though.
It was awesome.
Mag, I did
tell you that.
I did have it's a bit of a weird question, and I don't know, maybe it could be too private, but so obviously Summer Game Fest is open. Is it open to the public or is it press only?
No, it's
press only.
Press and invite, right?
You have to be invited.
Okay.
Yeah, press
you have to be invited. Okay, cool. So this is the bit that's private. Is everyone who's there, are their hotels and flights and things paid for, or do they? Okay,
well, I'm sure some of them are. But I mean, I would imagine like Jeff Grubb and like the bigger guys, Skill Up, 100%. Like someone like Skill Up is probably being.
So perfect. Goes on to my next point then, because one of the things I found with E3, over time it just became too expensive. Like hotel charges, everything like that. They just kept increasing the prices. So for regular people who would have to pay for those kind of things, they will, become less and less feasible. Is it at that point yet, or is it still reasonable?
Oh no! It's totally. Here's what I'm thinking, Nib. This is what I'm thinking they might have done. Like for example, Skill Up. It actually wouldn't be Keeley or the SGF people that put him up in a hotel. I bet you it's one of his sponsors or something like that. You know what I mean? Like so, like I don't think that they're being paid directly from the organization that like Keeley's organization that creates this whole thing, or even Microsoft. I think it's all gets paid for through their channels or through their through their sponsorships or things like that. That's what I'm thinking. Makes a lot more sense because I don't think that they're paying. Everybody else kind of had to make their own reservations because I talked to all the people. And they're like, "Yeah, I'm getting a hotel over here. I'm going to stay over here. I found a better, option over here." So everybody was paying their own way. But again, I think that sort of indirectly, it was coming from either sponsorships or. You know what I mean? Or even just the community. Like I got out there through the community. The community got me out there. And I was. But
like let's just say like a 5-star hotel within 20 minutes of the venue. How much are we talking for like per night charge?
Well, for me, I'll give you an idea. For me, broken up to fly from Toronto, Canada to LA. I was staying at the Moxie Hotel in downtown LA, right across from LA Live where the crypto arena is.
Yep.
It was $2,100 for flight and hotel. 2,100 Canadian. So that's about 1,500 US.
So for how many nights?
Not a lot. I was there 4 nights.
That's not bad at all.
To Monday.
That's not too bad. Yeah, that's not too bad.
No, I mean, and it was. Well, I got it through Expedia.ca or whatever. But I mean, it was incredibly cheap. Like, that doesn't include your spending money or things like that. It's still going to cost you $3,000 to do that.
What sort of did that include breakfast? Was it 3, 4, 5-star? Like what?
The companies paid for everything in that respect. Okay. Like when you got there, with like Microsoft, they paid for They had a buffet of what the hell are they called? Egg McMuffins and sausage and egg McMuffins, all that stuff. They had fresh, like they had like caterers out the ass, muffins, cinnamon rolls, this, that, whatever, coffee, tea, whatever the hell you wanted, scrambled eggs, sandwiches. Cool. Unbelievable.
So you wouldn't have to worry about.
But that wasn't at your hotel though, Meg. You had to go somewhere for that, right?
That was at the Museum of Moving Pictures or whatever it's called in Pasadena. So we were there for that one, and then Keeley on the Saturday, they paid for everybody's breakfast as well. And Keeley also gave like these little cards, and they had a bunch of food trucks, and they was all free meals. It was all All right, so here's what I'm thinking. Nib, next year you fly from Dubai to New York, pick me up. We'll swing down to Houston, pick up Jay, and then we make our way to LA.
I was staying at the Ritz.
Right, all right.
Even IOI.
DS, if you have to meet him in London.
So, but Mag, I do have one final question.
Yeah, sure.
When Asha, because I thought it was an amazing thing, by the way. Like even my sister, who's not into gaming at all, she said, "Oh, did you see the Xbox lady? She gave out bloody Xboxes at some show."
Yes.
And I was like, "Yeah."
Did you get one too, Meg?
I'm telling you, she has
I got
nothing.
one. Yes.
Meg, you got one.
Yeah. So my question was, she said something about if you have a fan sticker or something, right?
Yes.
Roughly, how many people in that crowd do you think would have received Series X 25th anniversary?
About 350 people.
Okay, 350 people. All right,
give or take. Yeah.
Okay.
The media didn't get it. They were
because I heard some people in the crowd like, I don't have that sticker, like,
I looked down, I was like, please God. I looked down, I saw the sticker, and I was like, yes, bitch. I was like, yes. I mean, I'm not calling her a bitch. I'm doing the thing.
I got you.
I'm doing the Jesse from Breaking Bad.
Jay, you like that?
But I looked down, I saw fan, and I'm like, yes, let's. Yeah.
That's still decent. I mean, they've spent at least 150K, I reckon. 150K on that.
No,
it's just on that alone.
That's an unbelievable.
Yeah, just on that alone.
Yeah. So we're getting the console's being delivered to me in November. So the first week of November. It's not like they gave it to me and I had to like lug it.
Oh, that's what I was wondering. I'm like, man, you gotta. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's not that big of a deal to bring back, but it would have been an inconvenience slightly. So that's very cool. They're shipping it to you.
Yeah. So we're getting that. And you know what's funny? When they showed the trailer during the actual show, I was sitting with Lord Sovereign.
Yeah, I know Sov. Yeah.
And it was just the two of us because I don't like being stuck in the middle of crowds. So I went to the far edge. So I was 10 rows up, but I was by myself. And I just didn't want anybody around me. But Sov came and sat with me, and I'm like, that's cool. So him and I leaned over to him, and I'm like, dude, I already have all this stuff, but I'm like, that controller, I kind of think I want to buy that, right? I'm like, but I'm not gonna. I can't justify buying another console. What the hell am I gonna do with it? I already have one, right? And it's tail end of a generation. And then when she announced it, I'm like, okay, save me money. There we go. I'm getting it anyway. So yeah, but they gave us all kinds of crazy stuff, like hats.
I love it. I honestly think both platforms, their anniversary consoles, both the grey one with the box and stuff for PlayStation for the 30th anniversary, and this one, like chef's kiss, like they smashed it. The only negative I have, I had a negative of the PlayStation one, which was that the kind of memory slot ports were a bit too dark. The grey, I know this nitpicking, but I don't like the fact that the Xbox One, the back apparently is not translucent.
It's not translucent, just the front part. I actually got to see the thing after the thing when they started the Fan Fest. It was there, so we got to actually, and then other people got to actually turn it on and play with it, whatever, up in the offices, like the bigger YouTubers or whatever. They got hands on with it. Not that it's going to be any different, but it's just just to be able to fiddle around with it and turn it on and whatever. But I did get to see it. I took a picture of it. But yeah, you're not wrong. The back is not translucent, but
it still looks amazing.
So I got there's a lot of super chats here. Maybe some of these are questions. I was reading them earlier, but they are piling up. Real quick, shout out to Highlanders. He says, "What's up, Mooch? Let's go Steelers." You're a little ahead of us. We're still in basketball season, Highlander, but I appreciate that. The OA says, "Good evening, guys. I'm at the World Cup watch party, so I'll just hear today and will only comment strongly if I disagree with DS." LOL. He's just kidding, DS. He's a big fan of yours. Shout out to Mariko. He says, who on the panel wants to take DS's Twitter, X advice, and buy an Xbox for the Shiny 2 console exclusives, in air quote. We're going to get into that, Mariko. We're going to get into that in a minute.
I mean, to be fair, that is valid because, it's like we all agree, everyone agrees that exclusives are important for the console. And, people don't want to buy a console if there's no exclusives. So follow that train of thought. It could only be a good thing, right? I am in the right.
DS, I think you're onto something. I'll have a bit of a parallel walk with you, and I want to see if I think you will walk with me on it. But when we get to that part of the show, the Glassdoor says, how much longer are we going to talk about how to make Xbox competitive? It's been 25 years. They have tried everything just to get 3% margins. Shout out to Glassdoor. The OA says, not every hero wears cape or hair. Appreciate you told Jeff how much it is appreciated, Meg.
I had to tell him, man. It was so important to me because
no, he did. Honestly, it is a big deal. It is a big deal. He brought a lot of this back to life.
I'm so glad he did because he gets so much hate, but I feel like he's doing more to put exposure on. And I get it, it's a business, right? But still, even though it's a business, he clearly has a passion for games. If you look at the games he's talked about loving in the past, they're high quality games, Half-Life, BioShock, the Naughty Dog stuff, he's a fan of, the Kojima stuff he's a fan of, but everything he likes is actually great. Fine, he loved My God, which I did too, by the way, but and people grilled him for that. But he is putting so much exposure on our hobby and elevating it to the kind of echelon of, say, film and other hobbies that have these big conventions and stuff like that. And this is where he's taking gaming, and I'm so happy for that.
No, it's good.
Me too. That's why I told him. He was so, and you know, the thing is, like I told you, he actually had a genuine response to what I said to him, and like it wasn't just like the generic.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Thank you for your service. Bye.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
that's so true. He actually leaned in and talked to me, and he's just like, "Hey, man," he goes, "I really appreciate that. Like, thank you." Like you could tell, like the guy, you know what I mean? Because he gets a lot of grief. You know what I mean? And
I will say
he even
another
took a picture with Colt, and they had like a little bit of an online tizzy at one point, right?
Tizzy,
so, you know, so they had a little bit of a thing and whatever. They were just hanging out, talking, and it was kind of cool. Like later on in the day, when everybody was just hanging out, like there he was. He was there with what the hell's his name? With Jason Schreier again, because Jason Schreier was obviously there, and him and Schreier were eating pizza. You know what I mean? Like they were leaning on the wall, and they just grabbed a pizza there, which is all, well, mind you, it was paid for by him. So like, you know,
I will say this his family, like, props to his family and his dad. Like, I didn't know this until like I saw the clip from Christopher Nolan, but Christopher Nolan, I don't know if anyone knows, like the new IMAX cameras that they're filming Odyssey with, that they're good. Basically, historically, IMAX cameras were such a pain to film with because they were massive and extremely noisy. So often they'd have to redub the audio. But the new cameras that they've designed, they're like closer to silent, so they can finally film direct audio. And he actually named the cameras after Keely's dad, because he was the one.
Yes, they're very cool.
Imagine that your one son is doing like Summer Game Fest, Game Awards, and all this, and your dad is pivotal in IMAX cinema.
It's very cool.
I like that. That's how he got into the whole thing. That's how these celebrities and everything else. Like when Snoop came out and was talking to him, he didn't even he was like, "Hey Snoop, how's it going?" Like it's just like he knew him like as if they were neighbors or something. You know what I mean? Like he knows all these people, and it's kind of cool. But it was awesome. I mean, it was awesome. Like I said, to meet all these people. It was nice to actually talk to them and congratulate them and thank them because they probably, like I said, you know, what do they get a lot of the time? They're getting grief on Twitter or whatever else. And it was nice,
it's interesting too to hear. It's interesting to hear the dynamic too, Mag, of how like that was your first time, and you're kind of. I'm using these words. I'm not trying to, but you were starstruck a bit. You're like, oh look, there's that person. There's that person.
Yeah,
and it's funny. Meanwhile, Jason Schreier, who's gone through like 150 of these, is leaned up wearing a pair of jeans, eating a slice of pizza. You know what I mean? Like,
he was.
For him, it's. Like, I'm not gonna lie to you. For him, it's work. Like, you know,
for him, it's.
He went to.
I mean, I was working too.
You were working, but you're. It's like when it's different.
I work for Bloomberg.
Right, exactly. I mean, for him, that's what he does. You know what I mean? Same thing for Jeff Grubb and those guys. These guys have been going to a bunch of these things. Ryan McCaffrey, these guys all been doing this. I've been watching those guys doing this forever. You know, on YouTube. So for them, it's just it's a celebration of games, but it's work. And for you, you're kind of like, I'm here working, but holy shit, look where I am. You know, you're like, wow, Like
you could tell, like even Christopher Dring. He, like I said, he was there with Schreier on the first night. They were hanging out at the bar, and they were doing the thing. But like you could tell, like I mean, it's like, all right, we're going to bed because we got a lot of work to do. You know what I mean? And even me, we were up at 6 a.m. every day. It's not like we were sleeping in.
No, you said that on your vlogs. You're like, I would like to be drinking, but you're like, I have to get up at 6 a.m. I got to be somewhere. I got to get up at
6 a.m. You know what I mean? And then with the time difference, throwing everything off, it was like it's a lot. It was brutal. But I'll tell you one last thing. This is another funny story, and you guys, people in the chat will know who this is, obviously. So we're going home, right? So I'm getting on the plane, whatever else, and of course I got the middle seat, so I'm already pissed off.
Oh yeah, I saw this.
So I'm rolling in, and there's a guy sitting there on the edge, and he's wearing a black hoodie, and the hoodie's up, right? And he's just kind of sitting there, just minding his own business. So I put my hand on his shoulder. I'm like, hey man, sorry, I just got to get myself. He goes, yeah, no problem. So I sit down, whatever. We're buckling up. We're getting ready for takeoff, and I look over, and he's wearing the X25 hoodie, which I didn't see when I first got in there. It said X25 on it. It was the Xbox hoodie that they gave us when we walked into the to the showcase, right? They gave us everything, by the way. They gave us T-shirts, they gave us hoodies, they gave us Xbox jackets, like made by Dickies and stuff like that, like beautiful stuff. Anyways, whatever. And then the thing is, so I pointed at it. I go, "You were there Sunday?" And then I'm like, and he pulls his hoodie back like Obi-Wan Kenobi from like the original Star Wars, like, hello there. You know, he pulls the hoodie back. It's Maka. Like, you know, Maka
I know.
Maka's guys.
Maka's been on CrossFire years ago, but Maka's been on here a couple of times.
Yeah, he's huge. I mean, like, he's a huge, like 600, almost 600,000 sub YouTube or whatever. And he's sitting right there. I'm like, Maka, what the fuck? I said right to his face.
Yeah. No,
I'm like, I'm everywhere on the plane. I'm like,
was-
you could have been just sitting next to me. And then he's like, hey, man. He goes, I saw you Saturday with Colt. He goes, but I didn't talk to you guys. So he goes, but anyway, we introduced ourselves properly. I didn't realize he's also from Toronto.
Yeah.
So,
Yep.
yeah. So we talked pretty much the whole plane ride back and playing games. I was playing on my Switch too. He was on his ROG out, whatever the hell that thing is called. And yeah, it was funny. We were just talking games and stuff, and it was wild. So we're trying to hook up for the Toronto Fan Fest because Xbox is touring around. Because they're doing like Cologne, Germany.
Yeah, I just saw that.
Tokyo,
Major Nelson tweeted that out today. Yes.
Yeah, Mexico City, Toronto.
So a lot of people thought that Larry Herb was back with. He said he clarified it. He said, "I'm here for the 25th anniversary." He goes,
"Yeah, that's it."
I can't really say that I'm going to be here after that, but he goes, "I am here for the 25th anniversary," which I thought is very great because I mean, Larry did a lot with Xbox. He was the face for a long time before this whole new, not this regime, but the other regime kind of picked up the publicity. It was Major Nelson in the 360 era.
He's a free agent that gets picked up right before, before you get to the playoffs, right?
Right, that's correct. That is correct.
He's just doing a little, like a 6-month stretch, and he's out.
And then he's out again. He's going to retire again. Yes. Highlander's asking a question. I don't know what he means by this, and I'm not being funny. I really don't. He says, thoughts on the Gothic remake? It looks like a lot of fun. What was he? Is he...
Gothic remake?
I don't know what that means.
Of a Gothic remake.
I didn't either.
Nothing there.
I have no idea. Highlander, let me know what you mean by that. I'll reiterate it.
The new Saw game is something. By the way, that was there
Saw
too.
game I saw. Yeah,
I
no pun.
think I know what he's on about. The Gothic 1 remake is already released. Because
it's already out.
Okay.
Oh,
yeah,
all right.
it's already out. I'm playing it. Thing is, it's a fantastic RPG, top tier. But the problem was at the time it released at around the same time as Morrowind. Now, Morrowind obviously was the big Bethesda Elder Scrolls game, and it overshadowed Gothic, unfortunately. But it's still a fantastic game. It just got overshadowed by Morrowind. So, yes, it's definitely worth a pickup. If you enjoy games like Morrowind and stuff and the old school RPGs, it's definitely worth a pickup.
All right, there you go. I thank you for that, DS. I didn't know what he meant by that, so I was unaware of that game and that title that came out. Appreciate it. Silver Wolf says, since I became a Mooch Maniac, Game Pass has lost money. Well, I'm sorry, Silver. I apologize to you and the industry. Shout out to Glinser. He says, if the PlayStation 5 sales numbers for Forza Horizon 5 and Gears of War Reloaded were the same, would E-Day still be an Xbox exclusive? We can kind of get into that a little bit. I'll just read a couple more of these, and then we'll get into a little bit of what's going on while we still have Mag here, and I want to hear what J-Dub thought about everything as well. And we can blend in some of the games from the different showcases as well. Matua's here. He makes me say it every week. Supercalifragilistic Xbox Ash-adocious. Thank you, Matua. I appreciate that. He says, hi, Mooch, DS, and Mag. Is it just me, or are we all eating good in video games, especially Xbox? Matua, I'm going to ask you a question in a bit. What do you mean by especially Xbox? I thought we had great coverage on all of the games shown on all of the game fests, but we'll get into that. Glinser says, tough question time. If you only get one of these 4 September games, which one do you pick? Blood of the Dawnwalker, the new Onimusha, the new Silent Hill, Wolverine. So I'm going to do this because I know everybody in the panel so well. DS is going to take Blood of the Dawnwalker.
Correct.
Me and J-Dub are taking Wolverine. I am going to also say that I believe, this one's tough. I know, and you know what? Nib's not going to appreciate this. I think Nib's probably slightly a hair into the Wolverine, but I think he would actually like to play Onimusha. So I know that he likes those types of games, but I'll say Wolverine for Nib.
Onimusha is like one of my fan favorites. The only thing I would say is so when I first saw Onimusha when it was announced, I was like 10 out of 10 hype. If you see when they announced it, I was like, oh my god!
That's why I know you like those, Nib, like beyond belief. So that's why I think that you would pick that one on that one for out of his 4. But maybe I'm wrong.
No, but the only thing is, I do think since the more they've shown it, the less and less excited I've been. It just I don't know. Once the veneer of nostalgia wears off and you analyze something for what it is, I just feel like it just doesn't wow me that much. Neither the visuals, the gameplay, or whatever. And I almost preferred it when it was fixed instead of like the dynamic camera type thing, which now most
I don't remember, Jay, you were with me when we were watching it. I can't remember if it was you or it might have been Blaze 4K. But Nib, I think the reason you're feeling that for the most part is we've had Fallen Feathers, we've had Black Myth Wukong.
Yeah.
We've had
Wu-Tang.
like all these other things came out. Right, these other
Phantom
games,
Blade Zero.
Phantom Blade Zero's
yeah.
coming out. You have
So
another
many, bro.
right, Neo 3. You get to a point where
Yeah.
you're kind of like, okay, so here's Onimusha. Now, by the way, anyone that is listening to the show, please relax. I know that there's some big time fans who have been waiting a very long time for this. That's not to take anything away from it, but there's a little bit of fatigue setting in there, and it's like, wait a minute, since there's another 80
agree.
games coming out in September, that one might get shelved. That's all I meant, Nib. You know.
Yeah,
So-
no. Again, I'm still super excited for it, but for exactly that reason, I'm just like, when there's so many of these types of games, you need the X factor. You need something, either whether it's your animations, the freneticness of your combat, or the set pieces, or the enemy design stuff. Like, you need something that makes you think, okay, this one looks much more compelling than these other 10 or 20, right? And I'm not sure Onimusha has necessarily shown me that yet. In fact, I think, weirdly enough, some of the Chinese companies are putting out much more compelling looking hack and slash action games right now than Capcom is.
Okay, that's
Capcom cuck, but I mean, Wolverine, 100%.
well, yeah, Mag. I was going to give you Wolverine right away. I know that you're
Wolverine
dying
is
for that.
100%. Yeah,
So
that's my
there's
biggest first
there you
attempt.
go, Glenn. And by the way, shout out to America, who goes, "You guys didn't answer my question. We're going to get to your." I read it, but we're really going to get to it in the next part. So shout out to America, aka Brian East. I appreciate that. Matua's back. He says, "Here in Ireland, our rivers run free and our blood runs green. We are Xbox." Shout out to Matua. You must have an Xbox tattoo on your forehead. Hold on a second. Gordo says, "Hey, J-Dub, are you excited about Clutch as I am?"
I am. Listen, this game has the potential to take on Forza Horizon 6. So we shall see.
gonna be
It's
interesting.
actually made by the
Forza-
former developers.
That's right.
The former Playground developers. So
Some of them were the
but
actual.
graphics
Oh yeah, that game looked awesome. Yeah.
Some of them are
Clutch or
they're not
something?
just the developers from that. I think some of them were the founders, I thought.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you're getting some of the, and I do have a topic on Clutch, which I'm going to give full credit to Hip Hop Gamer. He's the one that kind of broke the story. So shout out to Hip Hop Gamer about, he had a great,
Greatest man.
he
of
had a
the weekend,
great
let me tell you.
discussion about one of the factors of how the developers from Forza Horizon decided to kind of separate a bit, just because they wanted to do something different with Forza, and I thought it was great. It was a real impromptu interview that Hip Hop Gamer did with him, and he said basically, listen, Microsoft wanted to do their formula. That formula works. And he's like, we can't argue with that. But he goes, we wanted to take this and what we can do and add to it. And you guys know, I said it on this show. I said it to Nib. I said it to DS. I said it to Jay. I said, I like what Forza Horizon gives the gamer. I need more. So when I saw Clutch, and now there's cop racing and maybe stealing and this and that, I don't know, whatever's going on. And then the mods of the car and the car pieces fly off. Like, there's stuff to the game that I think is really, really kind of fun. I don't know. We need to see more on it, but it is exciting.
It's really sad, but
it's not DLC, Mooch.
No, it is not.
when I saw it, funnily enough, Mooch, I actually thought of you, which is probably awkward. Nib. I think it's because it resonated. I remember you saying,
yes.
storylines and characters and stuff like that, more emotion, right? And don't get me wrong, a lot of games have done it, but they've done it very poorly. Like Need for Speed is
and
very
the jury's still out on this
campy
one. So,
but this seems like much more serious effort into the story side of things, where you might actually have emotional resonance and actually care about what's going on. So I thought it was very interesting looking.
Yeah,
we did get to see some of it while we were there, not beyond the trailer.
Did you get to play it, Meg?
No.
Okay,
just got to see it.
Did they give it? Is there? There's no release window for that, right?
No, it's early.
It is early. Well, good. Well, that's fine. If it's early and it looks that good,
a visual.
Okay,
like here you get to watch. You know what I mean? As opposed to like
sit in the corner.
Play.
So that's great. Shout out to Bring Light. He says, God of Way Lafay, let's go. I like it. You spelled it wrong, but I love it anyways. I absolutely love it, Light. Gaming Ledger says, Jeff and Mag, 2 Canadians. Yes, without the oops. Bespoke says, how can Asha say she is bringing back exclusives to give people a reason to buy an Xbox in the same breath as announcing Steam versions? The Steam Deck machine are consoles. There's a lot to that. We're going to break that all down right now, Bespoke. Matua says, Xbox Game Pass, Mooch. Matua, I am well aware you're a big fan. All those great games for $14.99 a month. Matua, I pray to God you're getting at least 10% finder's fee. Matua, listen, Great to have you here. Now let's get to a little bit of it. And guys, again, we can sprinkle in a little bit of the shows, but while we have everybody here, what do you guys think? I will start with Mag. And Mag, listen, it's kind of tough because there is a human element. You were there, like you said, there was no bickering back and forth between Xbox and PlayStation guys. All that stuff was left behind, which, by the way, I applaud everybody there. That's great that everybody can have a great time and come for their favorite hobby or their favorite pastime or their favorite, what they do on the side for a living, which is fantastic. But at the same time, there's a lot of confusion. And the Xbox... By Xbox going ahead and doing exclusives, I do understand it. I truly get what they're throwing the bone out there. But there's a lot of people out there that were also talking behind the scenes, Mag, on Saturday and Sunday, that they're hearing that they're going to go ahead and do this. It's kind of a ploy to put Gears E-Day out there, put out Clockwork as an Xbox console exclusive, and then if it doesn't do well, they're going to say, we tried, and then they're going to go to PlayStation. Because Jeff Grubb even said it in a tweet. Jeff goes, somewhere, there is Gears E-Day, PlayStation 5, ready to go, sitting on a hard drive. So
yes, it is.
Right, so it is. We all know
they've been
that's
developing it for quite a long time.
Yeah, that wasn't a surprise, but Jeff saying it makes you almost feel like it's not. And I know they came out and said never, but there's a bunch of Aaron Greenberg tweets that are out there from Starfield that he said never. He said Starfield will never be on any other console, and here we are today in 2026. So when Matt Booty and them say never, yes, you take it at face value, but then I kind of, I like a Hardy Boys book, I just flip to the back of the story and I'm like, oh, look, it changed, right? So it's not exactly the same thing as the beginning of the story. So I got to say, the problem here is, and we can get into the margins a little bit and this and that, but you have a situation right now where you've got 35 million consoles out there. Steam didn't adapt to the reloaded stuff and really get behind Gears. Even PlayStation didn't really jump into the whole reloaded because it felt very dated. Here they did some great things with Gears E-Day. They sped up the momentum. It was one of the things I've been asking for. I'm very excited for it. But I'm not talking about my excitement. Like DSOE says, I'm excited for Gears. I'll be there day one. I'm actually going to be one of the people that supports it twofold. I'm going to support it on Xbox and I'm going to buy it on Steam, right? So my point is that I don't think, the thing is, if they don't see the numbers, Mag, and Clock, listen, I know DS, please, earmuffs. I don't mean this because Clockwork Revolution is not going to make people lining up at midnight to play that. So my point is that what is the end game here? Because I think really this was an olive branch to the hardcore fans. We hear you. We know that you care about the box. We care about Xbox, the console, but let's be honest, it's just not the direction we're going to be going in. And I don't know. That's the feeling I get, Mag. Is there anything that you heard about, this is what they're doing now, but if this doesn't work, we're going to have to do a 2-minute drill at the end of this and go back to the original?
This entire thing is a litmus test. That's what I think that's what it is.
Yes.
I think it's a little bit about what you said. I think it's about 30%. Because at the end of the day, we have to remember this is about not thoughts and feelings and hopes and dreams. This is about business. It's about money. So I would think about 30% of is what you said.
Yeah.
Saying, hey, let's recognize the fan base and everybody who stuck with us, kind of thing, whatever.
Yes.
70% of it is a business litmus test to see how it actually fares. Because at the end of the day, like I said, when you talk to these people in the higher ups, and I'm not talking about the people I met on Sunday, I'm talking about people they work with or even the investors and stuff, they don't care about gaming. They don't care about gamers. They don't care about YouTube. They don't care about this chat. They don't care about my chat. They care about money. So when they're going to look at this, this is a test to see what is going to work and what doesn't work. And the only way you could do it is by executing. So that's exactly what this is. And I think that like I said, I think 30% of it is to, here's something for the fans. And then the 70% is, all right, let's see how this fares out. Now, the thing is, it's going to be very important for them. You're right. You talked about a very small install base of barely 30 million. Game Pass is dropped significantly, upwards of 5 million, down to about 24 to 25 million. It's gone up a little bit since the price hike was reduced down.
Yes.
But it's still sitting in the 20s. So this is, as I was saying last night when Colt was doing his solo cast, they're about 55% off of their projections. 55% lower than their projections. That is brutal, because if you actually look at like from the ABK trials and everything else, and of course Asha just said it today or yesterday, excuse me. She was talking about how it's just like they're absolutely not where they want to be, right? Financially and in terms of their success rate and their engagement. So when they look at that, it's like, okay, well, with Game Pass being a 55% less than their projected their projections for 2026, and this goes back all the way to the ABK trials, well, then you've got a situation where you're like, okay, now what do we do here? All right, well, now you're going to have to Death Singer's going to love this. They're going to have to heavily lean on Steam. And that's why it was made as, thank God she said it, by the way, at the showcase. She said console exclusive, because I've been screaming about it for weeks. I'm like, Steam is not Xbox. It's a third-party competitor that takes 30%. No different than Sony, no different than Nintendo. So, so at least she said console exclusive. But with that being said, if you actually look at what the sales were for like Forza Horizon 6, sitting at around 6.4 million at this point, I think it got up to that. The majority of that was still on Steam. Right, so they're going to have to heavily lean and rely on Steam to pick up slack of people who are either engaging in Gears of War on Game Pass, and of course the smaller install base that will actually purchase the game on top. On top of that,
yes,
it does. Gears does have a very rabid following. It has like almost like a cult-like following or whatever. People get tattoos. I mean, hey, what, your best friend there, Mooch,
oh yeah,
you know what I mean? Like
Crap's got it right on his arm. Absolutely.
Right, so you've got that.
But see, Meg, and I said this to Crap when we watched the show. We did the show live. I said to him, the hardcore fans are going to be there. The Xbox 360 hardcore fans, the Xbox One hardcore fans, the ones that are already there. This is the same thing I said years and years and years ago about Game Pass. Game Pass grabbed the hardcore right away. They never left, even when it went to $30. Majority stuck around, right? So now you have Gears comes out. Is Gears the game that your kids and their friends are all clamoring to play, right? And clamoring to play and going to go run out and go get an Xbox for it.
Not now.
That's the problem. I don't think that's the game right now, right? So, and here's the other thing I want to bring up to you guys on the panel. This is the other issue I had with their thought. And I haven't seen anybody bring this up. There are other games. Everyone just keeps saying all the other games are coming to PlayStation 5. That's fine, but let me dive a little deeper for you guys. Doom DLC, the Halo game, State of Decay 3, Fable, it goes on and on. All the other games they have coming out for all of 2027 are all, except for Clockwork, are all coming to PlayStation. So if Asha wants to do a litmus test and see what's going on, the problem is you do this big splash with Gears this year, and then it's all the way till 2028 until you throw another console exclusive out there. It's too long. By then you've sold another, with GTA 6 coming out, you've got another 25 million PlayStation 5 Pro sold or PS5 sold. It's too long of a wait. The whole, I just don't understand the concept. It doesn't make sense. Because if you said the other games, Meg, if you said all the other games coming out in 27 are also going to Xbox console only, I go, okay, they are really going to beat this drum the next year and a half until the next launch, right? I get it. But the problem is you have this drought, again, after Gears, all of 27, all those Xbox published games are all going to be on PlayStation and Steam. So I don't quite understand the rationale there. Go ahead, Meg.
Well, then I think that my comments, it lends more credence to what I said, is that it's more of a business decision in terms of a litmus test to see how it performs. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I think with a large gap between, let's say, Gears and then Clockwork Revolution, and then who knows after that, then I think it was more about that. Now, like I said, I still think it's like a 30-70 split, but because they still have to appease the hardcore that are there, because you start with a positive base and you move out from there. That works. But the other thing is too, yes, you're appealing to like a group of people who are now in their 40s and 50s who grew up with Gears, in their early 20s or teens or whatever. And like my kids have no idea what Gears are. And my kids are the target audience now. They're the ones who are coming up. They're the ones who are going to be paying customers for the next 25 years and on and on and on. And so when you look at that, they're going to have to reintroduce that. And I kind of think that that's why they went to the beginning. And now the thing is, you mentioned all the Xbox 360 and Xbox One people will be the people who play Gears. You need a series console or a PC to play the Gears E-Day. You can't play that on Xbox One. So these people would have to upgrade. So then the thing is, what's going to be the catalyst for an upgrade? The catalyst for that, if they're going to stay in that ecosystem, is going to be Call of Duty, which is current gen only, GTA 6, which is current gen only, and Gears of War will be a lucky recipient as a result of that. You know what I mean? Of those people upgrading to that hardware, then you're going to have to advertise the hell out of it.
Yes,
I don't know.
No,
I don't know. But now I'm hearing they're cutting marketing, so I'm like, what are we doing here?
Yeah,
So,
not just that. They're saying that they're cutting marketing, and they're also saying that at this point in time, they're having a very hard time. And maybe you know this, or maybe Jay or Nib may know this too, because I know you guys watch the news on this. They're also having a hard time getting consoles out there. So it's just.
Well, sure, they gave them all away to me for free.
That's right. They gave him the Mag.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was great, actually, Mag. But Jay, what do you think? You're hearing about all this. What's your thought process as we kind of go through this? There's a lot of ups and kind of more downs. I don't know. There's a lot going on here, and the messaging is also very, very questionable. Shout out to Eric, the producer. He says here, wonder if anybody picked up on this. He goes, thinking about Asha's note. She says they got hurt by M&A, which is mergers and acquisitions. Then she says they won't make the same mistake. Then in the next paragraph says they'll make more M&A. Yeah.
So I was thinking about this actually. And the full sentence is more M&A to help with hardware and PC and mobile space.
Yeah.
And I have a suspicion the acquisitions might actually not be what people are thinking in terms of publishers and studios, but rather hardware manufacturers or vendors. So maybe, I'm not saying MSI or Asus or whatever, but something closer to along those lines that could help them on the manufacturing side.
I saw that too, Nib. Yes.
The pipeline. Yeah.
Yes.
Listen, I saw that, and here's my thought about that. Right? It is true. Microsoft has been struggling. They've been trying for 25 years. They've bought ZeniMax, ABK. They've spent basically $100 billion for the last few years buying up any and everything they possibly can. It hasn't reaped the rewards that they thought it would. They're in a worse position, and there is no light at the end of the tunnel for them because Nintendo is not stopping. PlayStation is not stopping. And I know people like to say, well, that's not their competition. That's not who they look at as competition. Well, it really is. A person that buys a PS5 is one less person that's buying an Xbox console. Unless Microsoft is just ultimately going to decide to get out of the console market, the console hardware market, and just do like the Lenovo handhelds and the streaming and the cloud and stuff like that. But when it comes to when it comes to an actual console, I'll be honest, guys. Xbox is as niche as it's ever been. It's even worse now. Even with these two exclusives that they got, even if you make all their games exclusive, remember, let's go back to when they actually had exclusives. They were still struggling. That led to Game Pass. Then Game Pass led to where we are now. It's a trickle down effect. It's just people weren't buying their exclusives back then. They tried with the Game Pass. It just didn't reach the saturation that they needed to be. Mm-hmm. And now here we are, all these acquisitions and talking about it's just I think at some point they have to say, we've tried. We have to stop. I'm not saying they need to give up on gaming, but they have to reach some position where they're comfortable with, and that I don't know if that's cloud, I don't know if that's streaming, I don't know what it is, but it's hard as hell to convince somebody to not buy a PlayStation or a Nintendo product.
Jay, I'm right there with you. And shout out to Pat Man, he's talking to somebody. Said I'll take that bet. That wasn't with me, but shout out to Pat Man Jones. Always great to have Pat Man here. He says Blade and Elder Scrolls 6 Xbox console exclusive. Here's my thought, and it's for you guys on the panel. Anybody answer this? Is this? I think when it comes to ZeniMax and ABK, those games are multi-plat. That's how I feel. I don't know, right? I think
I'll tell you.
Mag. I think when you have smaller team, I say smaller, but smaller like not ZeniMax, not ABK, N-Exile, Double Fine, Ninja Theory, the Coalition, the teams that they have in their possession and have been under their belt a little bit longer, like they may make those games remain console exclusive, right? You have to have a reason for people to go buy the box. I get that. People always say, well, Mooch, I want them to have something, but they cannot make up the massive dividends that they have with the situation of ZeniMax and with ABK. Elder Scrolls 6, listen, if they do it, fine. I can't see them leaving that kind of money on the table. I can't.
Nah, it's got more to. There's more to that than a lot of people realize. Also, with I did a video on my channel about it. It's called "It's the Developers." The developers for ZeniMax, well, Bethesda specifically, are not happy with their games going in Game Pass because they had a business deal before, and a lot of their bonuses that they would get, their financial bonuses, were based on game sales. And they were not happy being acquired. First of all, well, I mean, they didn't mind being acquired, but then they didn't want to go into subscription.
Uncle Pete left.
Well, the thing is, they have not updated the mandate of how they get their bonuses based on the performance of the sales, because a lot of people were, engaging in those games on the subscription service, and it was cutting into the sales, which of course then cuts into their bonuses. So now they weren't the only ones. Once they started complaining about it, then the staff at ABK caught wind of it, and they started bitching about it.
Okay.
And now look what happened. Within a year of them all bitching about it, Call of Duty gets pulled from Game Pass.
Yep.
And Bethesda's games are going to remain. They're going to remain. I think at some point. I have a gentleman's bet with Colt right now that I don't think Elder Scrolls 6 is going to even be in Game Pass.
Wow. Guess what? Listen, I would agree with that.
Yeah,
I would agree that
all the big ticket games, like Mag's saying, all the big ticket games coming from ZeniMax, ABK, those are not going to be. Eventually, that's not going to be in Game Pass. Yes. And that's what I'm thinking. Yeah. And we'll see if I'm right. I might be wrong.
I mean, we could all be wrong. This is speculation, but I'm just saying, like, that would make sense for them to recoup some money to get. That way, you have Xbox fans that love the console and want to have the console. They'll go buy the game. Here's
the thing, guys. Even with those games exclusive, right? Microsoft don't make games. They just literally don't make games that's worthy of you going out spending $500, and that's prior to the price increase now, right? The Xbox is like $600, $700, $800, $900, whatever. They don't have that type of IP that just makes people want to go out and buy a console, right?
Now, like the argument, Jay, the argument there, just to play devil's advocate, because anyone that's listening right now would say, well, Jay, that's not true. If you take Elder Scrolls 6 and you take the next Halo and you take the next this and you take the next that and you make it exclusive to Xbox, now you've got something. But the problem is those games, those IP and those two acquisitions, ZeniMax, they were all multi-plat. Those people were making games across everything: PC, PlayStation, Xbox, and Nintendo if they could. So that was you can't look at the market. It's like buying a major pizza chain that was distributing to the whole city, and then you buy the pizza chain and close it off to only sell on the one street. It doesn't. Exactly. You're not going to make the same money you bought the. You know what I'm saying? The valuation. Yeah. The valuation. It's not. The value's not there for the company you bought it for. So I just don't see how they can do it. Can they do it? That's the thing. We had people on this show back in 2020 and 21. And I'm not naming names, but they were on here and they were like, "Listen, Mooch, you have to understand. They got a war chest. They got infinite sums of money." And I said to him, "You know what people with money love? Money." They don't want to lose money. So it doesn't matter that they have the richest company. The richest company wants to be richer. It's not like they have the richest company and they don't mind throwing a couple billion away. It doesn't work that way. So the problem with this situation is yes, I understand the counter argument. Because Jay, what you said, the first thing I heard a lot from the Xbox camp this past weekend was like, if they take all their games and put it on there, bang, Xbox is back. But that's not why they bought those two big companies. That's not why they bought those two big publishers. Go ahead, Jay. I just wanted to say the counter because everyone's going to think that.
Like you said, Mooch, they have 25 to 35 million console gamers out there. That's not enough to make it financially feasible. It's just not. It is what it is, and I don't see how they get around it. I get it. Microsoft is one of the world's richest companies, and even with spending $100 billion on ZeniMax and ABK and all that stuff, right? They're still in worse shape. It's just I don't. There is some.
Jay, you cut out, buddy.
Did he go for anyone?
He did, yes. Go ahead, Nib. Do you want to finish up? Jay's probably
Yeah. No, I was just going to say this is the thing. It's like, I will say it's interesting because obviously we do analysis of the business side of things and we've done it for years, right? Mm-hmm. And I would say by and large, like the vast majority of our calls have been accurate. But I honestly feel like it's the first time ever that I couldn't necessarily even tell you what the best business moves are because they've kind of dug themselves into such a serious hole. So on the one hand, yes, we do realize and acknowledge that exclusive sell systems, right? But then on the other hand, you have so many things fighting against. Oh yeah, I can hear you now. Did you?
You're back, Jay.
Okay.
Nib was just finishing his point, then I'll go right back to you, Jay.
Oh.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to say, but on the other hand, you've got such like heavy cannibalization of traditional sales on the Xbox side of things. And in addition to that, like Jay said, the market share has dwindled, right? Already, even during the previous generations, so that there's actually websites that track the attach ratio, right, for each console at the end of life.
Yes.
And already, actually, PlayStation had a much higher attach ratio of games than Xbox, which surprised me. I thought it might be the other way around, but PlayStation actually has one of the highest attach ratios in the industry. I think it's 13.1 games or something. System, and Xbox and Nintendo are closer to 10. But the point is, yeah, they already have a higher attach ratio. They have a higher market share as well. Because remember, the thing with attach ratios, right? You can have 100 million, 120 million consoles, but maybe only 5 to 10% of them are actually going to buy your game, right? Because exclusives in general are cumulative in nature. So it's not like one exclusive appeals to every single consumer. It's more like this exclusive appeals to this demographic of consumer. This exclusive appeals to this demographic of consumer. So again, it adds up together. So you have, 30 million consoles, 35, 40 million consoles, and then already games that don't have the IP caliber or presence of, say, like a God of War or like a 3D Zelda or something like that. And then you've made them exclusive to a lesser install, to a market that is already conditioned not really to buy games because they play whatever's on the surface. So to me, I completely agree with Mag earlier that this is kind of like the trial run, because Asha did say, look, I need to see the data. And rather than base it on historical data and historical precedents, she is putting the lambs out to see, and then she can go by first-hand data, right? Okay, so here's Gears of War flagship IP. Let's see what it does as a console exclusive. Here's a newer IP that's had a lot of buzz on social media. Let's see what this would do, because this will give us an indication of what future AAA new IP might get in terms of exposure and sales on the platform. So she's basically chosen two really poignant picks. One is an established tempo IP and one is a new one, right? So let's see what happens and then go from there. But keep in mind, she did also say in the interview 2 days ago, she did say that they'll push exclusivity more when the business is healthier. But then what does that entail? Because I can't see anything, in future that necessarily turns things around for Xbox. Like they're, with the hardware prices being so high as she described, with the console market share still dwindling, with the Helix thing now, premium prices potentially being reconsidered, I don't see necessarily anything.
That's another thing, Nib, that no one's really talking about. So when you listen, we've had our ear to the ground for a while, and I don't know. Listen, I'm not in the business, but we've been talking about this for a very long time on this show. When a new generation launches, they're already working on next generation. If Asha is planning to scrap contents of Helix, right, to bring the console price down and do what a traditional console would be, the problem I think you would run into from an R&D position is it's not about just going to get things off the shelf. You'd be like, well, Mooch, they can just do that very quickly and revert it and lower the price. Yes. But there's a lot of stuff that comes when you're a platform holder that you put into the box. That's why as the generations continue to expand, you see teams like Sony Santa Monica or you see Naughty Dog really squeeze every bit of power out of the box because of the way that they designed it, specifically to run. It's like a Porsche going around turns versus like a Mustang, right? Mustang's great in a straight shot, but you have to fine tune it to be able to take those turns at high speeds. My point being is just that they are going to just quickly, within the next year to 12 to 16 months, they're going to change the whole R&D scope in a year and a half. I would consider that high, medium to high risk. If I was sitting in a room with them, I'd say, guys, from an R&D standpoint, we've put a lot of time into Helix and what we were going to do. If we take this, and this out to reduce the price, that changes our architecture a bit, right? And it may dumb down the box to a point that puts it too. That's one of the questions I had for you guys. Does that put the PlayStation 6 now at a better perspective? Because you've got Cerny and these guys that have been working on PSSR 2 right now. It'll probably be 3 or 4 by the time the 6 comes out. And they've got things lined up to make that affordable console. to make that affordable console a bit more powerful with their engineering in it. Now, if you're going to take Helix and just kind of edit, what are you going to get after you cut all of that out? I don't know how that actually works. I'm not saying that there's a problem. I'm saying I would think from an R&D standpoint, that would be a bit of a nightmare for engineers. Just a thought, I mean, to make a last minute, cut like that. Shout out to a couple of people here in the chat. Oh, go ahead if you have a point.
Sorry, Mooch. I was just going to say, I've always said before, right? Like, basically, when you have a really focused vision of what your hardware platform is supposed to do, generally that is when you extract the most out.
Correct.
Hardware potential what the games can do. And if we look at, for example, even Xbox One, right? So Xbox One, it had a lot of TV stuff. It's one of the reasons they had to go with DDR RAM, system RAM, instead of GDR. They had to offset it with the ES RAM, but ES RAM was only 32 megabyte. And it had all sorts of issues, all because they wanted to focus on the entertainment side of things and the Connect pack-in, right? It basically compromised their box for the gaming side of things.
That's correct.
And then you come to the Series X and S, again, because they wanted to appeal to the sort of more low-cost side of things, they have the Series S, right? And again, that has lower system RAM, different RAM bandwidth and everything else, also compromises the bigger brother because, by lieu, games can't just lower the resolution. They have run into all sorts of other issues and so forth, and they have to be reauthored, and the memory side of things has to be readjusted.
This is my point. See, these changes...
But they even did that with the 360 because they had one with the hard drive and one without the hard drive. And in the end, they had to make the hard drive the default, right?
Right.
So what I mean is they need to stop doing this thing where they kind of split the focus or try and do too many things and instead just have one focused vision that is fixed on this.
I agree. And in this case with Helix, it's not a matter of them splitting. It's a matter of going back to the drawing board at the 13th hour. It's a lot to cram into the you know what I mean? Like Jason Ronald probably heard her say that and was like, holy shit, I got to get back on LinkedIn. He was probably like, that's a lot. I mean, he designed this thing. He's probably got something really stellar out there. They told him, hey, listen, price isn't really the option. We're going for this customer. He's like, okay, thank you. And now they're like, hey, do me a favor. Take a lot of that brawn out of the box. And he's like, well, that doesn't really work that way, but I can do it.
Yeah.
But,
if it does play PC games
interesting.
Or Steam games, I don't know, right? But remember, there's less finite optimization on the PC side of things, right? You probably need extra RAM. You might need system RAM. You might need all these other things. Because remember, consoles don't have system RAM. Well, I think the PS5 Pro has a tiny bit for the OS side of things, but generally they just use video RAM, right? If you run out of video RAM, you can't page on the SSD. You can't page on system RAM, anything like that you can on PCs. That's it. The game will just crash, right? So they have to be much more sort of cognizant of how much RAM is in use at all times. So again, if you're going from being kind of like a hybrid PC, going back to more sort of a console, what does that mean for the hardware side of things and what he had? And if this kind of lower priced system is still supposed to play PC games, then you're kind of compromising yourself.
You're almost going to be you're almost going to create a version of the Steam machine.
That might not be future-proof, though.
That's that's my point. It wouldn't be future-proof. It would come out and maybe be able to keep up with the Joneses the first weekend, but not much longer after that. And I don't know. And now, shout out to Bespoke. He said something in the chat. He said maybe they're making like a Helix S, right? What he means is actually splitting again and having a powerful box and then also having one that's less expensive. But again, there they go again. That's the Series S syndrome.
That's it, exactly.
So
it's like they haven't learned then at that point.
Exactly. So I have a lot of super chats here. I just want to read a few of them.
And actually, I just want to touch on one other thing.
Nib, whenever you touch on one thing, I get like 5 more, which I'm very grateful for.
I'm sorry.
List is very long.
This is actually important to the point you just made, right? With the splitting thing. Yes. She mentioned in the 100 days update thing, right? The whatever.
Yes, the next 100 days.
I think, one of the things she mentioned is that they are in a more compromised position hardware-wise than their competitors because of the decisions they've made over the last 5 years, right?
Correct.
And here's the other thing. When you have a split SKU, right, say Series X, Series S, and your install between the two is roughly split, that actually affects your economies of scale discount. because instead of ordering this number of this APU, like 25 million, 40 million, 50 million Series X APUs, you have one that is a slightly different APU and another that is a slightly different APU. So your economies of scale is halved. So they would theoretically be paying more than PlayStation for the same sort of parts. And if you split your SKU, that could be another thing that messes you up down the line, because whatever number of them you sell, if you have a different configuration of APU that's a lot less, again, you're going to be having two, you're going to split your discounts into two. And yeah, that
you kind of alluded to it with price, Nib. That makes an interesting point. Yes. They may go the Asus or what is it, MSI? They may go that rate, right? Because at that point, they can scrap Helix, which is on the table. They can scrap Helix and say to these guys, here's what you need to have. Here's our code to make Xbox run smooth on your system. Create it. You know what I mean? And you'll have a third party license.
That's what Kepler said. I put out a tweet a while back, right? He said Kepler, he made this series of tweets, and he said the implication from the tweet was either that other vendors will make the Helix, or that they'll make Helix and other vendors will have hardware configurations using their versions of the Helix APU. So maybe like the Helix APU, but with a higher clock speed, more RAM, or a bit more GPU grunt, etc. Right? He basically outlined those two scenarios, and I said, if the rumor is correct, he means one of these two things. And I remember Jason Donald, Webb Ronald, he responded saying, we're going to make a first-party console. And everyone's coming at me, you're spreading misinformation. And I'm like, dude, he didn't actually rebuke the rumor, because the other part of the rumor was that third-party vendors could be making configurations of the hardware in addition to Helix. He never said that wouldn't happen. So it's this weird thing where they're not really good with, a lot of the fandom is not very good at reading between the lines at the finer context.
Yes.
And I feel like that is still on the cards, and that is what Kepler said is going to happen. Well, that might actually be what happened. They haven't actually
and I know there's a new regime in there, right? And Mag, there's a new group there. But the one thing I would like after all these years, my only pet peeve is I always believe give a new administration time. They come in there, let them do what they're going to do. I get it, but when Phil was in there, it was a lot of mixed messaging. The only 4 games, and we're committed to console, and we're going to do this, and stick with us, and oops, we didn't mean that, and and then it causes all this turmoil in the gaming community. And then Asha comes in and she's like, Xbox is back. She changes the logo. She answers a lot of great questions and makes some updates to the console that hasn't been done in it seems like a year or plus. And things are very exciting. And then it's like the mixed messaging of like, we're in a really rough spot. We're going to do exclusives if the business gets healthy again. Well, how can the business get healthy again when you bought, so many IP? You're going to keep it on with 30 million people on this one console. You're really relying on Steam. Is Steam going to be your catalyst for Gears? I don't know. I'm not going to say yes or no. I would think that it's going to do okay on Steam. I don't think it's going to do gangbusters. I think it'll do good. On Steam.
No. You got it. No. It's multiple things. Your game can be balanced across a ton of the whole PC SKU thing is complete horseshit, right? Because take RE9 Requiem, right? RE9 Requiem runs brilliant on a graphics card that's 10 years old by now, right? Runs great. Now, granted, you're running at like 1080p upscaled and whatever. It's not an amazing experience, but it runs perfectly fine, right? Developers, the reason why a lot of them come out the way they do is because the developers are not very good at doing it over a wide spectrum. Now, Capcom just so happen to be really fucking good at it, but that's because they've had a lot of practice, right? Capcom's been on PC for a long time. They're really, really good at optimizing their games, and they're like, okay, well, this is your minimum specs, a 1660 graphics card, unless
it's Monster Hunter.
Well, but then Monster Hunter's big problem was the fact that there was
Dragon's Dogma 2.
Well, Dragon's Dogma 2 also had a
or Batman.
I was going to say,
or Batman Arkham Knight.
The main thing is
open world.
The main thing is whether it's open world or not. Basically, their engine is really good when it's linear and like sort of small environment. Probably because the asset streaming is much less demanding. But when their games are open world, which, let's be honest, a lot of games are these days, that's when things start
But then again, that's not even true, because the Monster Hunter and Iceborne ran flawlessly, right? Before Wilds, right? Then when Wilds released, the issue was only with 8 GB graphics cards, and that was because there was a memory leak issue. That is their fault. Because as the modder went in and showed them, look, it is your fault because he fixed it himself, and then Capcom said, thank you for showing us, we'll fix the problem, right? It took someone from the community to show Capcom the problem. So people...
Yeah, but there was issues even with higher memory configurations. There was also issues with DLC authoring and all sorts of things. So it's not like a one thing, but the point is, obviously...
You could get it to work if you actually work at it, you could do it. So that's not really an issue. But then also on... But the console is just they're just gonna do what they're gonna do. It's not gonna sell particularly great. But it is what it is at this point for Xbox. And if they do play the PC versions of games, then hopefully they finally have their own upscaler, maybe. Unless they're just gonna rely on FSR.
I will say though, DS. The only thing I will say about Helix that I find interesting is I haven't seen. Now Asha's been semi-careful with her words. But I haven't seen her. She keeps saying your PC game. She doesn't say Steam library. So that's interesting, right?
PC games is just that would be the version of their games.
The Xbox store,
right? Yes, the games in the Xbox store.
Correct.
That basically is what you're going to be playing. Now, obviously, she hasn't made any. There's no actual information to act on, so she can say PC games, but what does that mean? Like, in what context?
Right. What does that mean? Right? Exactly.
I don't have the context for that. What you're telling me is PC game, which could be one of many things.
Correct.
Right. So there's no, until they actually reveal the details, I can't really act on anything to do with Helix about what they plan to do. So,
but the thing about what we're saying, DS, is I think we'll ride along with most of what you said there. I mean, I just think the question right now that bears answering from Xbox is when you say if Helix is either shelved and they're doing something else. I don't mean shelved as if they're not gonna and they're gonna go towards a traditional console. Or are you just dumbing down Helix? Is there gonna be a Helix and then a Helix Lite? I mean, that's the kind. And listen, you may say, well, Mooch, you'll get your answers in due time. That's fine. But I mean, they are still talking about a late 27 release date. Nothing's really changed to say it's going to be 28 or 29. Maybe both companies are thinking about going to 28. I don't think gamers. Listen, I'll speak for myself. I've talked to a lot of people. I know a lot of people that will run out and buy a PS6 day one, but they said they're plenty happy holding on to their PS5 Pro another year. So they can wait another year. But again, technology, if things in R&D are already set and they already have everything in the system laid out, technology doesn't wait for anybody. If they don't launch next year and you wait till 28 just for prices to come down, your technology is a year older. And you, as a PC gamer, would laugh and say, well, you guys are already behind us. Now you're way behind us in your first year. So, that's the thing. I don't think waiting is really the answer either. You kind of subsidize the cost of it and you go from there. That's what I think Asha's looking at. She's like, how do we make a traditional box again where we can subsidize this a couple $100 and get this thing to be affordable? $1,500 is not affordable. Even if I take $500 off, it's not affordable. Like, people are not going to run out to pay that. I think that, PS6 is trying to be somewhere between that $600 and $800. It's a wide range. Don't know. But it could be somewhere in that range for a day one launch. You know what I mean? It could be 700. I think 700 is the number I usually say because that's what the Pro launched at. And here we are, it'll be a year or two later after that. I think that's a fair number. I've got a couple of, like I said, I'm going to get a couple of super chats in here because these guys, I feel bad they've been waiting. Matua says, Mooch, just listen to Asha and what Matthew Ball said in the extended interview. Matua, I did watch that. And again, good information, but some of the presser that's come out after that, it doesn't contradict, but it doesn't ride exactly on the rails that they were talking to. Gaming Ledger says, what if Xbox only does one game a year as exclusive? Because with their reset, there will be fewer single-player games and more ABK-like games. That's interesting. Ledger, I always like where your head's at. That makes a lot of sense because he's saying they're going to go ahead and really, push out the multiplayer games from ABK. They're going to push out those multiplayer games, get more people involved on the ZeniMax games, and then that's basically what I said earlier too, Ledger. I said the smaller teams, the Ninja Theories, the Double Fines, maybe even Obsidian. I don't mean smaller team as far as that, but Obsidian's games, keep those exclusive. Babor says, Mag, in fact, all panel members, isn't Forza 6 proof that Xbox games get the kitty glove treatment? Imagine if polyphony. Yes, he says release Polyphony. He said Polyphony. He didn't finish the word. Polyphony released that product 6 out of 10. So he's saying, imagine if Babor, I know where you're going with that, but I think you're better off waiting to see what happens. I put a tweet out there. I wouldn't exactly say it's blowing up, but it's got like 60 or 70 likes. I was just joking around. I said, I could see PlayStation making that game Clutch a timed exclusive to see how it does on their console. Because if that's a Forza Horizon like clone type of game and it does more things outside of the box and they let them have that creative freedom where Microsoft kind of caps the whole, this is the Forza Horizon recipe. People always said PlayStation doesn't have a Forza Horizon. Well, that's the Forza Horizon team that's freelance right now. It'd be very interesting to see what they do there. Matua says, Mooch, pull up the Matthew Ball interview. That Matthew Ball interview is like an hour and a half, Matua. At Glassdoor Gamer, he says, Gears 5 on Steam sold an estimated 800K.
Sorry. Which one?
Glassdoor saying Gears 5 on Steam sold an estimated 800K.
Yeah, Gears 5 was one of the worst selling.
Yeah,
Gears.
It wasn't a good game.
It was badly rated as well because the thing is, his problem
was it
also
not by critics. It wasn't.
No, it wasn't.
By Steam reviews.
But it didn't take off anywhere though. Gears 4 and 5, in my opinion, were the worst of the series.
Gears 5 is sat at like 69. Funny number, 69. But yeah, 69% on Gears 5, ironically. But it's like people didn't really.
You mean on Steam?
Yeah, for Gears 5.
Yeah.
People didn't really enjoy it, but then again, it's like with the changes they've made, it's new updated, so I think more people might vibe with it because the whole wall bouncing thing. Bear in mind, a lot of people love to play on mouse and keyboard on PC, not controller, right? So you have to factor that in as well. Gears 5 didn't translate the best over to mouse and keyboard.
I don't even know. J-Dub, go ahead.
It's got more to do with the story. It's like when you make a Star Wars movie without Luke Skywalker, Han Solo, and Princess Leia, nobody gives a shit. Because that's what the story's about. It's like making an Indiana Jones movie without Indiana Jones.
Right.
Also, you have to compete with a good product versus other products that only release on PC, right? Because there's a lot of games and also like a lot of timed exclusive release on PC day and date, right? So when they drop Gears, other games are going to release around that time, and more games release on Steam than anywhere else. So people's attentions is always dragged elsewhere. So you need your game to be good to convince them to go do it. Like, look at Forza Horizon 6, right? Versus 5. No one gave a shit when 5 came out. But when 6 came out, everyone and their mother wanted to jump on this game. Now, you could say that's all just because it's based in Japan. Well, if it's just based on a location, then that's great, but I don't think that's all it was.
Just out of curiosity, what are you basing that on, what you've just said?
Well, Forza Horizon 5... if you look at their player count on Steam, right?
Yeah, but that's just Steam. But if you look at the actual official player counts that are released by the actual Playground Games, they're actually tracking very similar in overall player numbers.
Yeah.
So I know that one is doing much better on Steam, but in terms of actual overall player engagement, it's roughly the same.
Yeah,
so it could just be that more people are playing it on games.
But what I'm on about is Xbox's games on Steam versus Xbox games elsewhere, and this where Gears of War E-Day comes in. Because now people are actually paying attention to a good game. So if Gears E-Day comes out with all the jump in, you could slide in the game now, that's probably going to convince a bunch of people to play it. And plus, it's the original cast, so people will probably jump in. And I think he'll do rather well. The same way Forza Horizon 6 did much better than 5 is because it can't just be Japan. It's just people wanted to play the game, I guess, for whatever reason.
I think Japan played a big role, though. I really do.
Well, it is, but then again, obviously, Steam is in more markets than Xbox and PlayStation, right? It's more world markets. So, of course, more people will be like, oh, well, yeah, different Asian countries and whatnot. So
we'll see, I guess. We'll see. It is an interesting topic. Like someone brought up something that about reception on Steam and Xbox and PSN, right? I often hear this claim that, like, PlayStation games are overrated by the media, right? By critics. But the hilarious thing about that is, by and large, user reception, as in purchase confirmed, I don't mean on Metacritic, I mean people who actually bought and played the games on whether it's PSN, Xbox, or Steam, by and large, for the tentpole titles, the user reception is often a lot worse than the critic reception for a lot of the tentpole Xbox first-party games, whether it's actually the opposite, at least on PSN. Well, on Steam, it's like roughly in line for their tentpole games, like a Spider-Man 2, Ghost of Yotei. Like these games are like 95, 96% rated on PSN. And I think they're like between 89 and 90 or something percent on Steam, right? Again, similar to their critical reception, whereas stuff like Gears of War, it's in the 60s and 70s on Steam and 3.5 on Xbox, and Starfield is like 59, 69% on Steam and Xbox, and it's like 80 something percent on Metacritic.
That's because, let's face it, most of those Xbox sites, right? I mean, there's a lot of them. They're very vocal. They go and they give every Xbox games a 10 out of 10. I mean, we know the websites, so I won't name any names, but we know that. We know what to expect. We know what to expect from that,
Even Forza Horizon 6, I believe, last time I checked, on Steam it is 86%, and on Xbox it is 84%. And again, this is like what, 91, 92 on Metacritic.
Yeah.
So it's like quite a common occurrence actually. Same with Halo Infinite. Same with the previous Forza Horizon. Like obviously not as aggressively different as like a Gears 5 and a Starfield, but by and large, these games are received much less by the community than they are by critics.
Yeah.
No, that's a good point.
At the end of the day, it's about the dollar. Regardless of what a game Metacritic score comes to or review score come to, it's all about if people are willing to buy it. And if people aren't willing to buy it, it doesn't matter. And I think that's kind of the problem that Xbox has had in quite a long time.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting, Jay. I mean,
rate high, but there's just people just don't show up for them.
I think Gears is going to rate very well, Jay. I think the people that are going to play it on Xbox Series are probably already have Game Pass, or they'll get Game Pass for the month, which is fine.
Yeah.
And then I think Steam, will do well. We were kind of talking about this, and I'll ask. Let me ask you guys, because Steam DB kind of the concurrent players. What do you think the day one? Now I know it's odd to ask this question because if you pre-ordered the game, you get to play the game early. Let's just say the day it comes out. I think it's October 6th. What does everybody think on the day of actual launch, not the pre-launch? What do you guys think the high for the day will be on Steam? The record high.
Yeah.
What do you think? I mean, go ahead.
I don't know.
I mean,
don't know.
No one's holding you to this number, by the way.
It's hard to gauge. I mean, that's really hard.
Like 100K, 150K, 80K,
maybe 80K.
Personally, guys, for what game? Mooch?
For Gears. I'm just curious.
It's not. It should be way higher than that, surely.
We see you say that, Nib, and I thought that, but I've asked a lot of people that play on PC, and they're all, majority of people have said they think the number's around 100K.
Yeah.
The thing is, it's impossible to tell on Steam because, like, games will just do random things. Like, for example, Slay the Spire 2, which not many people saw coming, it like cracked 500K or whatever. But then you have a game that comes out, like Requiem did pretty well for what it was, really well for what it was. Thing is, it's really hard to tell because games will it's so random. It's just whatever people gravitate to at the time.
Yeah, but we saw the numbers. There were way more PlayStation gamers that bought and played Requiem than PC gamers. So you got to look at those stats too. So again, it's like the whole Steam thing is not the end all be all.
The reason, Jay, the reason I agree with you, the reason I brought Steam up as the conversation piece is because this won't be on PlayStation. So I don't think it's going to get a tremendous amount of sales. I don't think it's going to get a tremendous amount of sales on Xbox. I think if people are going to play it on Game Pass, so it's up to Steam. Steam is going to be that one that carries it. So, and it's funny because when you talk to people, again, Gears is an older franchise. They kind of lost the audience with 4 and 5. They're going back and doing a prequel, which is very, very cool. Listen, it's what I wanted. I'm happy.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know if a new audience of PC gamer is like, oh, Marcus and Dom? Oh, yeah, count me in.
Yeah.
Let's also not forget, DS, it's coming out October 6th, right between 20 games releasing in September and like 15 games coming out in October. So it's like, it's not exactly
But
like you go, it's...
Well, again, that's also a problem with everything released in September, because most of the games are good. Like, a couple of games will get Titanfall 2'd, right? That's gonna happen.
Right. It's going to happen to a couple of games, which sucks, but yeah.
There is not enough time.
I don't know why they don't just...
games.
A lot of these September
It's also
games...
coming out 2 weeks before Call of Duty.
Yeah.
Which this year, by the way, just so everybody knows, this year's Call of Duty is going to be something special.
Buddy, I can't wait, Mag. I'm back. I'm back, Mag.
Just so you guys know, it's going to be something special.
I got the Mastery Prestige in Black Ops 6. I went to the full 10. I mean, I think I went past that, but I did the 10 Prestige, and I played the absolute shit out of Black Ops 6. Black Ops 7, I Prestiged once. I was like, listen, I'll see you guys for Modern Warfare 4. I can't. It just didn't bring me in the same way, Mag, this past year. So, and then they the traditional Warzone, they went with that other version, which basically was RedSec, but their version, which I thought their version was better, nice speed to it. But I missed the traditional Warzone, and now they're going to focus on, I think, the DMZ, right? Am I saying that right? I didn't really play a lot of that before. But that's so they're putting all their eggs in the extraction basket. So here we go, and everyone's like, oh, marathon this and marathon that. Arc is down, marathon's down, everything's down, and now Call of Duty's like, hey, we're gonna do extraction. Okay, great. I would rather you went back to Warzone. You don't have to do Verdansk, but like make a new map and get us back to Warzone. But go ahead, Jay.
Mooch. It's only bad when Sony
That's correct. That's correct. Yes, extraction.
Outrage.
That's right.
Sony
DMZ extraction. You'll see extraction is back. It'll be the headline. Extractions are back.
Who's asking for that? Who asked for that? You remember that?
Yeah. Who asked for this? Oh God, you can't make it up. It's so glorious. Matua, I'm going to read this out loud. I know you're a big fan. I love Matua dearly. He says Gears E-Day wipes the floor with Wolverine in both storyline and graphics. Matua, come on. I'm a little bit biased. I know, and I've sat here silent for years. I enjoyed the Spider-Man games. I'm actually a way bigger X-Men Wolverine guy than a Spider-Man person. So I've been waiting for this for a long time. I'm more excited for this Wolverine game than you guys could imagine. Where I saw a lot of people excited for Spider-Man and Venom and this and that. Great games, but Wolverine's kind of where I think it's at. Silverwolf says there's not enough Xbox out there to grow the base. That's the thing, Silverwolf. So it really depends on what they're going to do with the consoles. You know what I mean? How are they going to handle this next generation? Because what they're doing with these two exclusives, I'm not even commenting. I'm just shrugging my shoulders, saying I don't quite know, unless it's that thing that Mag. I'm shocked. Did you hear anybody say it though, Mag? I mean, there was a few people that did podcasts that have bigger shows and were in the industry, and they were saying that they heard rumors that the idea in Redmond was, listen. Our hardcore fans want exclusives. Let's give them this big name, Gears. They love Gears. Let's give them a console exclusive. If it doesn't do well, we can say, hey, we tried.
Right. Yeah, that might be a possibility. I haven't heard anything beyond that. As for the Helix is still coming. It just might not be what you think it might be. It'll evolve over time. That has a lot to do with price and availability, right? So
you're saying, Mag, do you think they're going to dumb down the specs though?
Yes.
Okay. I mean, I do too.
Dumbing down the specs. Right?
I don't mean it in a bad way where it's going to be just not the $1,500 machine.
I mean, they built this machine. They designed this machine to do something specific. And if they rearrange that and cut everything in half, cut memory in half, and then the SSD storage in half, and all of that, they're going to have to rework that and figure out, okay, how are the games going to run on this, and what's going to be the advantage of this, and what's going to make that different than the X Series X? That's going to be I want to know that. Like, how are they going to sell us on that? I'm just curious how they're going to have all this R&D go into this box. Maggie, you can take the mic from here, and then they're gonna bring it back to a console price, which is great.
That's what I'm thinking. That's what I think it might be. It's something that's actually, because I mean, she literally says it. I mean, she literally says
Yes.
that we can't have anything that's unaffordable or whatever the hell she said. But she said, if you go and watch that whole thing that she did and the breakdown and the next 100 days talking about that, talking about the changes in the philosophies of their business and all that. Yeah. And I think that that's something that's going to be, they're going to have to make something that's affordable. And then the other option is going to be, accessibility through cloud, which I've been saying for like the last year is exactly what they're going to do. I know they've already have that and everybody else already has that, but they're going to make it even more accessible and easier to use. That's what I'm thinking is going to happen there. Now,
they don't suffer from accessibility. That's never been a problem for them. You can play an Xbox game on a Samsung TV, LG TV.
That's fair. Yeah, I can do it on my monitor.
You can play it
right
on
now.
any and every device possible, right? Anything. So they keep using this word accessibility like, oh, gamers have been wanting to play, but they can't because there's no cheap way for them to do it. It's like...
Then it's got to be the software. It has to be compelling. Yeah. That's the other thing I always been preaching a lot. I said it has to be compelling software that people actually want to play. So I talked about this last night. I know I pissed off some people last night, but it's fine. I mean, I just talk the way I talk. And I said, because when I was doing the show with Colt, and I said, some people, names I never recognize, that usually happens when we talk about this stuff, not the regulars. And some people are like, well, PlayStation players aren't buying these games and this and that, whatever, so why should they go over there? I said, did you guys ever stop to think for 1 second that the Xbox players weren't even playing those games? Have you seen the fucking achievements?
Exactly.
Excuse my language.
That's right.
Go to what the hell is that dancing friggin' game with the music, Hi-Fi Rush. It was a rare achievement for the first 2 years to get to the second level, which takes 40 minutes.
And everybody was claiming that was a victory lap for Xbox.
What I was getting at is that people weren't even engaging on that game on the Xbox.
That's
Why
what I mean.
would you expect a PlayStation player to buy it?
Right.
Right? And then the same thing
Gears Half-Busters. Remember it was Gears Half-Busters. Less than 6% of the people actually, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's... Yeah. So I don't know, man. I don't know.
So the point is this. Asha's not, and I'll tell you this. I like her idea because she's gonna peel back the onion, just like when you go like not me, but like you hear about people go to rehab and they're like, why are you a drug addict? And then they're like, oh, just because I like drugs. No, they're gonna peel the onion and peel the onion and peel the onion and get to all the layers and find out the root cause of it. And she's not afraid of that. And she says it. She's openly talked about how people are not engaging with their games. That means that she's walking in those studios and saying, hi guys, great work, whatever else. Why is nobody playing your game? And that's why it was important to hire somebody who's not in the gaming industry, someone who's looking from the outside in and have a non-biased look at it and say, well, guys, no one's playing your shit. Why? And that's important. And so it has to be compelling software that everybody wants to play. And then accessibility and everything will go hand in hand with that because people will seek you out if it's something everyone's talking about. If my son goes to school, all right, everybody of his friends and my daughter and her friends and everything else, they're all got PlayStations. Nobody's got an Xbox. I'm the only one in this house who has one. Right, I live in a stable full of ponies in here. There's hay everywhere. How do you make
it through your day, Mag? Here's
the thing, Mooch. What if my son goes to school and they're like, "Yo, did you hear about this Gears game? Everybody's talking about it, this and that." They show commercials during halftime, or whatever, in between innings of the Blue Jays game or whatever.
Yes.
And you know what my son will do? My son will come down here to my dungeon. He'll come down to my office here, my studio, and say, "Hey, Dad, that Gears game." You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
They'll ask because people will seek out quality, right? And so the thing is, up to this point in this generation, there hasn't been a whole lot of it. And like I said, I've been very vocal about that. And saying that I just don't. I think that the experiences, apart from a couple of them, have been very mediocre. And she's going to stop that shit. I'll tell you that right now. When they talked about layoffs, some people speculated studio closures. I have not heard that, but certainly some games will not see the light of day. That I did hear, and there's a reason for that, because they're going to look at that and make the hard. She said it. We're going to make the hard decisions.
Right.
That is how. Listen, you can't make an omelet without cracking a few eggs, and I think she's going to go in there and crack some eggs and say, "No, this game ain't it." Or this, you know what I mean? Like, what do you guys think?
No, I do agree with you.
You're out.
Well, the thing is, so let's see. I'll kind of break it down like this, Mag.
That's the only way
I think
you can bring
you're
Xbox
right.
back.
I think you're right, but I do think I think it'll be the egg that gets cracked is going to be a little bit of the. You may see some studio closures, and and
I haven't heard any of that. But
no, but that was some of the speculation.
Today, I have heard.
But think about it though, Mag. If you have a studio that they own, and I'm not talking about a big studio. I'm not talking about I'm not talking about Infinity Ward. I'm talking about no. But I'm saying you have a smaller team. And they're out, like, let's put it this way, just use a name out there, right? And you don't want them to happen to them because I think they're very talented, but Ninja Theory. So Ninja Theory, Hellblade 2 didn't do very well. And now they have Senua coming out. And Senua is going to be on everything. And
I think that game's going to be good, by the way. I have a gut feeling about that.
I think it'll be.
I don't know what it is.
I would use the word.
I think it's going to be a successful game.
I don't know about that. I would say it would be better. It's going to be better. I think it's going to be better.
Well, the emphasis on the
this it's not.
Strictly, I talked to the director of the game. He said it's literally a God of War action adventure game. It's not part 3.
No, it's not. You can see their emphasis is on the action, which is great.
Yeah, it's literally just a hack and slash.
The only problem I have is
like Heavenly Sword. Didn't they make Heavenly Sword for PS3? People. I think it's the same vibe.
I think it's same name, not same people. That was a long time ago. So my point, I think when it comes down to it, Mag, I think it'll be better. I just the problem I have is their mechanics and their gameplay has always been a little bit of what I would say is the part that was subpar. Now they're like, hey, listen, we made a full game of that. And I'm like, oh, yeah. Well, I hope you fixed it. So because their visuals and their storytelling and their immersion was spot on, 100%. It was their fighting that wasn't so great. And they're like, we made a fighting game. I'm like, okay, hopefully, I hope you worked on it.
I think it's going to be whatever.
I don't know.
I'm just bringing it up. But the point is,
this is the hard, Mag. This is the hard part when you meet the people, right? Because it's hard. You're like, I talked to the guy. He's passionate. He's excited. I know what you mean. But like at the same time, now if you said I played it, then I'd be like, well, all right. So you can't talk about it. But like you would have been like, well, listen, I played it. Trust me, Mooch. Just give it time. Okay, I'd be like, all right. So I'm just saying they'd have to prove a little bit.
Mooch till we get it in our hands.
This is true.
Like, for example,
I'm only going by history, right? That's what I always use here. Yeah. If you say to me, hey, Mooch, give me one reason that Wolverine will be good, I'll be like, Insomniac, and they haven't missed all year. That's all I can say. I can't tell you.
They have a history.
Yeah, Wolverine's mechanics might be awful. I don't know. But if you say to me, give me a reason, I'm just telling you the reason I'm a little bit skeptical. But that wasn't where I was going with this anyways. What I was saying was if Ninja Theory's game doesn't do well again, you don't go and say that the
conversation down the road. I think the conversations they may be having now are there. For example, this is something that I've been asking for a long time. What in the living Christ is Rare doing?
I don't know.
The updates for Sea of Thieves that like a team of 25 can do that.
Yeah, I don't know. Listen, Rare is wicked talented, and I think what they built Sea of Thieves into is actually great. It's not my bag, but I think it is definitely great. I think Rare should get back to making some of their IP that Microsoft owns. That'd be a lot of fun. Maybe that's what they're doing.
Well, the thing is but like again, if you go back to that next 100 days, article or whatever, you could read through it all when she talks about different things about them basically taking too long and hemorrhaging money. Right. And so I think a lot of things that either are not ready to go or almost ready to go, and they're not up to like, the gold's Nintendo seal of approval or whatever in terms of quality.
Yeah.
Then those could be in jeopardy. Or in the very least, if they do not close a studio, they will shave them down in size and say, okay, you're working on this, great, but we're gonna have to cut you back because you guys are costing us too much. And that's something I've been saying for a long time. It's called the financial sag. The financial sag of taking on too much of a burden, too much of an overhead. And I already expressed that with ABK. I said, they're gonna be carrying the ABK. They think it's like, when they put out the first financials, they're like, look, guys, we're up. Right? Or look at our profits are up. And I'm like, yeah, but you never factored in the salaries, their costs, their healthcare benefits, the rent, the lights. You know what I mean?
Right.
The mortgages on the buildings or whatever else. Right. The leases they have to pay. You never factored any of that, and they just threw that. That was the most disingenuous thing they did a couple of years ago, and I saw right through that bullshit. And I'm like, nah, that's full of shit. You never factored in any costs of running that $70 billion company, and so now that's what you call the financial sag. Is that now you're carrying so much weight that it's hard to squeak a profit out of that because of the overhead. It's like opening up a restaurant, you know what I mean? A gigantic restaurant that's the size of Walmart and putting 20 seats in it.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's like you can't that doesn't compute.
No.
Right. So it doesn't work. And that's something that I think I like I said, man, I don't evangelize people. Okay. I don't evangelize executives. I know exactly who they are and what they are. They're very nice people.
That's
I
right.
did have nice conversations.
Yep.
And I tell you this, she means business. I'm telling you that right now. She means business. I'm not going to make like some people on Twitter, they turn her into Mother Mary. Have you seen some of those pictures?
Yes, we have.
With AI and shit like that. I'm not doing any of that. And I'm not going to be a nasty person, obviously, but I am actually supporting whatever she's about to do.
That's right.
I say, shoot your shot. Shoot your shot. Wayne Gretzky says you miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
That's right.
And I'm saying, go for it. You know what? I say go for it, and I'm going to sit back and watch.
But and
I'm saying,
and Mag, you know what? Mag,
you do it or do nothing.
Mag, I'm just going to ask you something, and it's rhetorical. If you want to answer it, please do. If not, you can write me in a DM later. When you say shoot your shot and do it, my question is, when you say that, what do you want her to do?
I think that what I think.
Not what you think. What do you want her to do?
Mooch. She's going to make a radical change. And I'll tell you, and I think that that's exactly what she's going to do. She's going to have to make changes to Game Pass. I think those Big Ten polls outside of what they showed at the showcase, because if you watch the showcase, all the games that they showed, it literally said, play day one on Game Pass or whatever else. Right?
Yes.
I think that after 2027 and beyond, that might be a different conversation. I'm not saying it's going to happen.
No, I hear you.
Maybe a conversation.
That's a great point. Great point.
On top of that, they're going to have to make affordable hardware. I think that if you want to make expensive, powerful hardware, third-party OEMs, that's what you do. And that's how you can escape. Like, for example, if you want like a super powerful Project Helix ain't going anywhere. It's happening.
Right.
But you could say, okay, well, Asus, you're going to make the super powerful $1,500, Helix with the Xbox logo and the name and the whole 9 yards. You guys can make that. We're going to make a $600 console, $700 console that people can actually, I know it sounds crazy to say, people can actually afford or whatever else. Right. They'll do something a little bit cheaper and then have third-party OEMs do very expensive hardware like the ROG Xbox Ally X and blah, 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 blah.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the other thing is, the reason why I'm leaning this way is because it came out of her own goddamn mouth. It's not Mag. People get mad at Mag. Okay? People block me on Twitter. She said, we can't, literally quote, we can't keep doing the same things. So that is, if that's not a bat signal in Gotham City skies saying, I'm changing this fucking thing, then I don't know what the hell you're paying attention to, because she literally said out of her mouth, we can't keep doing the same thing.
But Phil said out of his mouth, he said it's only 4 games. So my point being is, I'm just saying to you, Mag, I hear what you're saying, but there is only so much flux that she has. They are in a situation, right?
She has to answer to investors.
I think exactly. I think you're right. I think the Game Pass stuff, spot on. I think they're going to go ahead and try and make a more competitive, more financially affordable console. Absolutely. The problem is Phil said something that a lot of people are already dismissing Phil. He came out and said it on that one podcast, and I said it back in 2021. I said they lost the worst generation to lose. Now the problem is, since he said that, they've now lost 2 of the worst generations to lose. You have so many people on Xbox that went to PC because that's what they were told to do, basically, by Xbox, and you have the rest that went and got a PlayStation, and the numbers dwindled. So even if she shoots her shot, she does what you're saying. I'm not. It's never too late. It's never too late, and she does stand on business. The problem is she was handed the keys when the car already had no doors. It's already a
train wreck. I mean, if you look at those numbers, she openly showed everybody. She goes, guys, this is what's really happening here. And then when she had the talk with Matthew Ball, she said to his face, "Can we fix this?" Well, wouldn't that lead you to believe that it was a broken system? You know what I mean?
Right,
so, like, it's
right,
not like,
right.
It wasn't online rhetoric that this was a broken system or a broken business they were running. She said it out of her own mouth. So again, they come after who? They're going to come after me. Listen, they come after you.
I'm actually, believe it or not,
Mag.
Mag.
Talk to her. She said it was broken.
Mag, believe it or not, I'm kind of defending her a bit because it's like she's walking in.
Her.
Yeah, I know you are.
She inherited a shit show.
She does have a shit show. So that's what I'm saying. So but all of this talk, and the other thing too is Phil just left, and Phil was in the media and talking to all the people and doing all the podcasts and doing all the rounds. And they're like, okay, Phil's going to retire, and we have a new person. The new person comes in, and I'm like, good. Get down to business. Start doing that. What does she do? She goes to social media. She starts doing the shows. She starts doing the interviews. Yeah. She's done 85 interviews in the past 4 days. Like, I mean, it's like, and then you get a little bit of, and by the way, anybody who does that many interviews, sometimes you overlap and conflict a little bit, and it's happening, and it's like, that's the same thing that happened to Phil. It's like, you don't have to just operate and show with action. You don't have to, you know what I mean? It's like, it's just, it's more of this. So when you're like, she stands on business, I'm like, yes, but it seems like a lot more of the same, Mag. That's
the best thing.
You know what you just said?
That's the best thing. That one thing I like about Nintendo and Sony executives,
E-Dog, you're a clown.
They just shut the hell up. You don't see Sony out there trying to explain anything. You don't see Nintendo out there trying to explain anything. They just do what they got to do and move the hell on. It is what it is. They let their product speak for itself, and that keeps from having this. Well, you said this and you said that. You guys know I have a million clips of things that Phil and Sarah Bond have said in the past, and Aaron Greenberg, and it's been the opposite, right? I can post all day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You say what you want about Sony executives, whether you like them or not, and whether you care. Most people don't care about them, but those guys don't really say much, so it's kind of hard to say. Well, he said this or he said that. It's like they're not on social media. They
never even said, Nib, I'll give you the mic. I said they never even said they were going to officially not do anything on PC. They just the rumor came out, they didn't say anything, and then and then when their show came out, they just didn't mention PC at all, and that's their way of operating. It's like when McDonald's came out with the, what do they have? The big arch. Or whatever they called it, you know what I mean? They weren't like, "Hey, everybody, come on over. Did I put too many onions on, or should I put an extra piece of cheese on, or do you want a sesame bun?" Or they just put it out there. You go try it. You like it, you like it. You don't like it, you don't like it. They'll find out in the sales. Go ahead, Nib. Sorry about that.
No, I was gonna say I get what you guys are saying, but I really do think it's intentionally curated. And what I mean by that is, look, think about the narrative that's playing out before us, right? Asha Sharma, she's genuine. She's really trying to change the company for the good, right? So she curates the image like, I'm really pro gamer, I'm for the gamer, which actually, ironically, is exactly what happened when Phil Spencer took the helm.
I don't think she's not saying that, no, Nib. She's not saying that she's pro gamer.
No, not pro gamer, as in pro Xbox fans. I'm trying to do what you guys want. Yeah, as in like, you guys want exclusives, I'm giving you exclusives. You guys want these changes, you want cheaper Game Pass, I'm doing it. Like, so, because he had a list of things that he did straight away as well. Away from entertainment,
he removed the Kinect.
Yeah, the Kinect. Then he first party studios back into game focus. So loads of things. It was a whole string of things, right? But here's the thing: at the same time as she's done that, she has, and to her credit, honestly outlined the difficulties of the business. 3% accountability margin, which doesn't even include hardware losses per their previous financial reporting with the FTC, right? So it's actually worse than a 3% margin. If we went by traditional operating income calculations, it would be lower. So she's outlined this 8+ months of Game Pass decline before a slight bump recently after the price drop or whatever. And she's gone through step by step all the challenges they have, right? Then with Game Pass, hardware costs, hardware manufacturing, how they're behind on hardware versus the rest of the competition. So on the one hand, she's kind of said, look, I'm trying to do all the things you guys want. On the other hand, she's talked about the realities of the Xbox business. So what that does is, if she cannot deliver on those things, she can basically say, well, and it's probably true, to be honest, I did try, but the business side of things did not make sense. Right. So kind of like, don't blame me. Like,
let me say this. This is my just my personal opinion, and I just got a gut feeling. I got a gut feeling that she was sent there not to try to resurrect Xbox into something great, because it can't be. It just can't. Time has passed, and they've tried for 25 years. They've been trying. I think she was sent there to go assess and come up with an exit plan to wind things down. This is why, again, she comes from the AI field. They could have got a gamer. They could have got somebody. Hell, they could have hired Shuhei Yoshida, right? They could have hired Sean Layton. These guys are sitting around with nothing to do. They could have bought anybody who's a veteran from the game industry that knows how to get things back, but they didn't. They took someone from the AI team, and she comes in and hire a bunch of guys that are what? Gamers and that knows about gaming? Nope. They're all AI. They're all AI focused. And I'm just, again, could be wrong, but if it looks like a duck and it quacks like a duck, I think right now this little fiasco that she's going out there, this little we're gonna go here and we're gonna say this and we're gonna say, they're doing the same stuff. They're telling you what you want to hear, right? They're making you feel good, and especially by giving those 2 exclusives back there, they're shoring up the handful of radicals that are the Xbox fans that are diehard. They're giving them something to hold on, and kind of just hold on for a while.
But I'm wondering, what are they buying?
I have a counterpoint.
Go ahead, Mac. Go ahead, Mac.
Jada, I have a counterpoint when you're saying that she's saying stuff they want to hear. You're right in that respect. I was there in the flesh. I saw, and you have the the diehard fans and everything else, and the community and all that. And yes, you're not wrong in that respect. However, she also did say today stuff that nobody in that camp wanted to hear. Like, she literally laid out all the negatives. Did you read the thing? Did you read the
No, yeah. That's what I'm saying. Right. Because so even if it doesn't work, we can't really blame her, honestly.
Right.
No, I don't blame her for
No,
anything.
not blaming her. No,
we're not talking about that. What I'm saying is she's
just saying what Amy Hood has been saying for the last year.
Yep.
Right? Amy Hood, she doesn't care about anything. She's a business lady. She's just all about money. It's her job to focus on the money and make sure that's just what it is. She doesn't care about the game and shit, right? But, I just, again, guys, we're all smart, right? Some of us are business people. We know how to look between the weeds. What can anybody back here tell me really what Xbox can do to get back in the good graces of gamers and to be able to be competitive with Nintendo and Xbox, Nintendo and PlayStation again? I mean, really competitive, not
take years of consistency.
It would take years. It would take
years of consistency.
Going back to a $9.99 or $14.99 Game Pass price, if they're going to keep Game Pass or remove Game Pass, right, and then make certain games exclusive. But like you said, Meg, that's like turning the Titanic. It's a very long trip.
They need to stop doing interviews.
Oh, what's up, Jazz? Hey,
the real Jazz.
See, here's the thing.
I got goddamn grill marks in my ass. I was out in 95-degree weather with softball.
It's so hot out there, dude. It's bad out there.
I walked in the house. I was like, "What's that smell? It smells like steak." It was my ass. That was grill marks.
Dude, it was almost 100 degrees.
Yeah, it was hot, wasn't it today?
Man.
Oh my God! It's like
97.
It was like 91, 92 here in New York. I was dying. No, Meg, go ahead.
Listen, you guys need to start using B-days. Let me tell you, man. I had my whole house.
Listen, I use selfies here in Canada. Okay, so I'm so used to talking to Americans, I instantly convert. So I know how to do the conversion right to Fahrenheit. Listen, here's the thing.
What do you guys call it?
Before I go, Jez is tagging in. I got to tag out. But here's the thing. You can't have a ball club that wins 2 games and then loses 10,
right? And
then wins 2 more and loses 10, and say, well, there's some wins in there. No, you're 4-20. You know what I'm saying? So the thing is, you want J-Dub to answer that question. They need years, and I don't mean like 1 game, like I'm saying, or 2 victories. You need years of consistency, years of consistent product, and that is how you literally change an entire demographic where they look at it and new people come in and younger people, and then they get get those good graces. That's the only way. This is not an overnight fix. This is not a one exclusive's not going to do that. Not a year or whatever they're doing. I don't know what their plan is there, but it's going to take years and years of consistency. Why does Nintendo and PlayStation have that luxury? Is because they've had consistency for decades, and as a result of that, that's why they have that reputation. They continue to push for that reputation. They may stumble here and there. PlayStation has stumbled. Nintendo has stumbled. But have they always keep coming out on top? Yes. Right?
Yeah.
No ball club has a perfect record. You know what I mean? So they all have losing streaks and whatever else. But I'm just saying, at the end of the day, it's going to take years of consistent quality, and that's going to be one hell of a mountain to climb. But either way. Anyways, boys, I got to go, man.
Meg, thank you, buddy.
Leave like an hour ago.
No, Meg, I appreciate you being here, buddy. 2 hours. And honestly, thank you so Mac, thank you for the telling us about your experience, man. It was a great insight into what is going on over there.
Earlier, man, that was awesome.
Very cool, Mag.
There's so many more stories. I couldn't fit them all.
Guys, go over and check out the Mag Show and go over and check out Mag's YouTube channel, please, because Mag, there you go. Mag's got the link right there. He did a lot of vlogs. He's got a lot of videos. He's got a lot of stuff, and he's gonna do the rest of this week probably discussing it. Mag, thanks again, buddy. Always great to have you on the show.
Guys. All right,
Thank you, Mag.
I got a bill. Have a good night, guys.
Night, Mag. And welcome. We're going to welcome the great Jez7780, everybody, the Gaming Grindhouse. I saw a lot of people. Shout out to Blaze 4K, too. Thursday night, Blaze. Thursday night. Shout out to Blaze 4K. We'll be streaming on Saturday morning, 11 a.m. on Twitch, guys. You're not going to want to miss that with the Great Lazy Vibes as well. So, yeah, Jez, I got a couple of super chats here that I haven't even gotten to yet. So hold on a second. I just want to see what you guys. This always sparks debate. Cool. He says here, so shout out to Moonshot. He says, I bet money that Microsoft and Asha is all BS yet again. We'll see, Moonshot. I think what Nib said and what Jay said holds some water, as well as Mag, is she's going to go out there with this plan. At the end of the day, it's really something she inherited. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. SPIX38, he says, I just don't think there's any meaningful growth left for Xbox in the console space. PlayStation and Nintendo are too dominant in the global market. It's going to be an uphill battle. We've mentioned the things that they can do, but I don't know if it turns the ship around. Matua says, J-Dub talking nonsense again. Xbox is a pipeline of great games. Jay, there you go. Matua is not agreeing with you. I'm sure you're shocked.
Okay.
CPIX says, Gears is past its prime. It's not a console seller. That's my concern for Gears as a Gears fan. I mean, in 2007, I played that bad boy right after it came out, and I've been hooked on Gears since. I've always loved Gears, but I don't know if this screams out to the new audience out there. We're going to see. These numbers are going to be very interesting. You know what I mean, Nib? That's what I meant when I was saying that earlier.
No, I agree. I think the game looks really good, but it doesn't look like a game of the year, game of the generation, like up there with sort of the best of ND, with GTA, that kind of caliber. It doesn't scream that level of quality. And I think when you're the underdog and you are trying to compete with another platform that already has the market share dominance, you don't just need good games, you need really exceptional games, because it has to be enough for someone to be, think, okay, I might leave this platform that already has this really strong base or this other one that's the underdog, but they have these really high quality products. Like, pardon me, like for example with the PS3 gen, it wasn't the early few games weren't enough to convince people. If you look, it was kind of your Uncharted 2, your God of War 3, your Last of Us. It was these kind of bigger marquee titles that were so advanced and pushing the needle that they really brought people. Killzone 2, for example. Like, I know Killzone 2 didn't sell that well, I think 5 million, but Uncharted 2 certainly did. Yes. It was one of their better selling titles. God of War 3 certainly did. Yes. Last of Us obviously sold gangbusters. And the point is, you need those kind of titles. And even then, it wasn't enough to immediately switch things around. Like, the 360 and PS3 were kind of very similar, right, in numbers. Admittedly, the 360 came out a year earlier, but the point is that was the toughest time PlayStation had in a long time, and they needed literally non-stop banger after banger after banger just to kind of keep up, essentially. I remember one of the years, I think it was 2008 or 9, they had like 4 or 5 marquee tentpole titles that reviewed really well in the same year, and I was like, damn, they're not messing around. They're really serious about bringing back consumers. And unfortunately, that is the kind of level of mammoth kind of productivity or whatever that Xbox is going to need to bring people back. Like, even from the Wii U to the Switch, right? Like Breath of the Wild, Super Mario Odyssey and stuff, like, they're like mega titles. Breath of the Wild was, is one of those games where it's like, oh shit, if I miss out on this, I might literally be missing out on one of the best games of all time. Mm-hmm. I don't mean just like, flavor of the month type thing. I'm talking about like a marquee generational title that if you don't get a Switch, you could miss out on this. So, they need those kind of titles. And again, I'm not convinced that Gears of War either.
Yeah, that's a great point right there. Shout out to Glassdoor. He says the handful of console exclusive games will lose out on extra revenue to appease fans. They are still on PC day and date, which hurts Xbox Series X consoles. Glassdoor, right?
yeah.
I mean, he this is part
Well,
2 of it. He just said
yeah.
Go ahead.
That's
Jess.
like the whole thing. It's like, I feel like, this if it really was like, because even what Mr. Ball said about in his interview, trying to sell, like, bring a reason why you want to buy the Xbox console, and that's why they did this exclusive thing. It's like, I think if they really wanted to do that, they just pull it off of Steam and just keep it on the Windows Store and also on the console. Like, that will make the console appeasable for people to want to buy. But when you're just putting it on Steam the same day, I would even do, Mooch, like what you say, like do the double dipping.
Yeah.
Even if they tiered it on Steam, like 6 months or 7 months,
Yes.
like you let Gears come out now this holiday,
Yep,
only on console, and then now when you show Fable releases in February, now Gears starts coming out on PC on Steam in March, and then when Fable comes out only on console, then around when you're looking at probably Clockwork Revolution or something like that comes out, then you put Fable on, PC, and kind of have that cadence where there is that little bit of FOMO where you want to go get it on console first.
right.
And
You ain't gonna get that. Ain't gonna work because if it ain't working for PlayStation
It'll die.
gamers to buy,
it's not.
it will die. Like the thing is, it's like you want.
But
the
I'm saying
thing
if that's what they're saying though, like he said the reason why they do exclusives is to make Xbox a purchasable console.
yeah, but
Leaving on Steam doesn't do that.
But then again, you want to get the console players who wouldn't touch PC, right? Because if there was console players who were willing to touch PC, they'd probably already be on PC, right? So then you have to consider, well, how do I lure console guys who will never touch a PC in their life for gaming? How do we reach that market, right? Because you can already have free access. Anyone can just put your game on Steam and you got access to the PC market, right? That's whatever. But to convince the console people who don't care about PC, they're just like, I want my console and that's me. You have to convince those guys, and the only way is to have a console exclusive, right?
Right.
Because
Yeah,
the
so
PC
that's-
guys,
so
because
the
the
reason
PC
why I
guys
brought-
aren't coming to console.
Well, exactly. The reason, they're not. But the reason why I bring that up is because that is the hypocrisy in their strategy. Because of their doing what they're doing, they're not really serious about what they just said. So that's why I brought that up. I was like, if they were serious about wanting to try to give that stuff for console like they're saying, then they would do that strategy. But since they're not doing that strategy, this whole exclusive thing right now is just a PR move and a facade. The thing is the real problem. This is my whole thing with Asha. Return to Xbox is not the same Xbox that we believe Xbox is. Her return to Xbox is Windows PC and Helix and whatever that Windows Store is, and Windows as the future of Xbox. That's her return to Xbox and branding. It's not 360. It's not the OG Xbox. That's why when she says that stuff, everybody's believing that she's going to go back to the glory days of Xbox, and that's not what she's doing. She
No,
has her own definition.
Right. That's right.
But the problem is, it's like, the thing is, you want to keep it on PC, right? Because you want to make the sales on PC. Bear in mind, you have to separate the two fan bases, right? Because they intermix sometimes, but for the most part, they don't. They could two completely separate, like, consumer markets, right? PC is very vastly different to console for the most part. So to convince a PlayStation-only player to come over to buy a box, you need quality and a lot of them exclusives, right? Bear in mind, that console player, even though the games are on PC, they're not going to buy a PC because they don't care about PC, right? So the game being on PC doesn't matter, right? So now you have to think console to console. So how do I get this Nintendo gamer to buy my Xbox? Because they're not going to buy a PC anyway, so that option's off the table. So it doesn't matter if the game's still on there, whatever. How do you buy my box? Well, then you use the exclusives, right? So PC isn't a big factor in that because a lot of these people who are on console don't want to play on PC. So that is not an issue.
So do you think when she says they're building a platform, do you consider Steam their platform?
No, I think they're trying to build the Windows Store.
Yeah, exactly.
Because they've claimed they've been trying to fix the store for like 10 years now. Or
yeah,
whatever,
and that app.
And they still haven't fucking properly fixed it, right? So, I mean, who knows what their actual plan is. They want to make an ecosystem because they've got like the ROG Ally and stuff, and they want to like expand out a bit, but it's like mainly for this exclusive thing only matters to like console players. So I think that's where they're going. They're trying to get console players to buy their console because they're the only people who would willingly buy their console.
But then
so what
I do agree with that, but I also think that is actually a continuation of a dangerous strategy that has already capitulated the console market share. Because this notion that console players will never transition over to PC, I think is actually the flawed thinking that has cost them the biggest chunk of their market share.
Yes.
Because more and more data is coming out that is showing that so many Xbox consumers have actually moved over to PC, not PlayStation. Right? We can literally see it in the swings of franchise sales. Even actually, funnily enough, with Forza Horizon
6, I was going to say the same thing.
Is actually a perfect descriptor of that, because the reason it has much higher Steam sales than the previous game is because now there are much more Xbox players on PC. And it's the same thing with across the board with multiple different titles. It shows a huge swing from Xbox towards PC. So I actually think that's flawed thinking, and I think like it's going to be another one of those things where in future I say, like I did talk about that literally for years, or we spoke about that for years, because the problem is when you transition someone to PC, you lose that 30% cut. And that is why their revenue, imagine releasing your games to 950 million people or 40 million on Steam, right? That's the number of PC gamers. And yet you have worse sales of your games than ever in your platform history. Think about that. You release your games to the largest demographic of gamers that exists, and somehow your game's sales and chart performance is worse. And in addition to that, your revenue stagnates as well. What does that tell you? It tells you that any additional sales that they did pick up on PC were offset by the 30% cut that they lost. Hence, there was a flatline revenue growth. Conversely, look at PlayStation, look at Nintendo, year on year revenue growth using the traditional model. So again, I really think.
But then again, it's a really nice caveat, but that's only when we're talking about the Xbox consumer going to PC. We need to talk about the people you're trying to convince, Nintendo and PlayStation. They don't give a shit about the PC because the games aren't on. None of the Nintendo games are legally allowed on PC, and PlayStation has just pulled all their games from PC, right? So then then it's like, how do I convince these people to come over to Xbox? Well,
no, but you got to convince both, not just one or the other. You need to convince both.
You have to convince all the console players. So the caveat is nice, but that only counts for the Xbox user base.
See, that's what I think they're doing right now is they're just keeping. I said this before, what Asha's doing is keeping the console players in a holding pattern on Xbox before she then introduces them to what the future of Xbox is. And she alluded to it so many times, is the future of play is PC. And that's where I think Helix comes in, and she's going to make sure that she gains the trust of the Xbox core, but she is going to lead them into PC land with this hybrid.
Yeah, she's basically offboarding them. That's
platform. What she's doing, but she's buying them goodwill by giving them what they want from their feedback and stuff in a holding pattern. She's not looking, because remember, she never said I wanted to grow the console market, expand it. She said I want to stabilize it. So that's all she's doing, is just keeping them from hemorrhaging to other platforms.
True. I wasn't expecting like an overnight dramatic change because I know it's not financially feasible, but I did find it funny when she walked up on stage and was like, hey guys, how about them exclusives, guys? And it's like 2 exclusives out of like 15 games or something that are multi-platform. And I remember thinking at the time, look how low the standards of the community has dropped, right? Like piecemeal bones thrown out are enough to satiate them. Like look at how far things have changed, right? Back in the day, it would be like, 15 exclusives. Hey guys, how about these exclusives? Now it's like you get 2, one this year, one the next year, and all these other games are multi-platform. From Halo, Forza, and everything else, Doom, you name it, they're all multi-platform. Here you go. You have.
I forgot. I wanted to ask Meg if she had those shades on, if she took it down and she had a red eye.
I also hate to say it, but Clockwork will do better on PC than it would do the console.
Yes.
I think Clockwork's got a good thing because it's an Exiles game, and Wasteland 3, the Wasteland games did way better on PC than they did consoles when they finally came over.
Yes.
Given their pedigree, and everyone knows who the studio is, I would imagine it's going to do much better on PC than it would the console. So I think that being console exclusive probably doesn't matter because it's going to get most of its sales.
That's the thing. That's why I said
how many games would you say you buy a year?
It depends.
Wait,
on
what
the
did
year.
you wait? What did you
It
wait?
depends
Nib,
on the
wait,
year.
wait, Nib, what did you ask?
Maybe
Let's just say in 2026, how much do you think you'll spend on games?
This year, I can't put a price on it.
I've bought at least 12 games so far.
Yeah, like let's just
Like-
say £500 to £1,000 for me,
Actually,
right?
I could tell you right now. Actually,
Yeah.
Well,
carry
we're
on.
not talking about those cheap $2.99
So
Steam sales.
everything. I'm talking about everything.
No,
AAA
everything.
and
Yeah, I'm just counting.
All right, while
games
you
I
do that,
bought.
let me just.
Yeah.
Glassdoor has part 2 of 2 here. He says they introduced the Helix and Handwave, the Series X, at their Sega Saturn, just to be in limbo for the next few years. S tier incompetence, and that's kind of what Jez is alluding to.
He said that. Yeah, he said to me because that's the other thing too. If it was about console, like the second week that she was there, she already announced a new console. Like, how does that give any kind of people like, oh, it's the end of the generation now because they're already talking about Helix sending out care packages. It's like that's not really the best way to kind of curate your console and kind of grow it and get a demand for it. Just like that ball guy was saying, like, oh, there's the demand for the console. I'm like, you just announced a new one, so like, that immediately, like, if Sony came out tomorrow and said, guys, PlayStation 6 Project PS6, that's not going to do well for the PS5. People are like, oh, I'll just hold off and wait for the PS6.
Yeah, I'll wait.
Exactly.
Basically, Yacha did week 2.
That's right.
Have you guys heard the latest?
Yes.
Xbox executive Matthew Ball says hardware pricing boom represents a great opportunity to transition gamers to xCloud streaming.
Yep.
He also says in-gaming ads could help keep our products affordable.
Didn't I call that Mooch? How many times did I say that? How many times did I say that?
I have it pulled up right here. Xbox is floating the idea of in-game ads, nothing that may have potential to keep our products affordable. Goal is to ensure they can continue to fund it.
Literally, I saw in a DM yesterday, I literally floated that idea. This is what I think they're going to do. They're going to put I swear to God, more priority on streaming. This is before this interview came out, and more on adverts. I said maybe they either put adverts in the games or do an advert tier for Game Pass, right? Where it's just streaming and you just watch adverts and stuff, and they basically go to many different companies and product vendors and stuff and just get money that way.
And it gets revenue for them too with the
So far, I have purchased 19 games this year.
How much money you spent?
This game is crazy.
All right, so I mean, I have to discount
$122.
He's like £15.
Well, no, because I'll reload. I'll load it. For example, I got the whatever the top edition of Forza Horizon 6 was. I got the top edition for like 70, 80, near enough. So obviously, if I go by reload it, I'd probably spend like 300, 400 probably.
Yeah. Wow. So basically, the kind of the thing I was getting at, that's not like a hell of a lot, but for example, PlayStation, their average cost that people have spent per PS5 user, I believe, is $847, which 30% of that would be, $260, right? $255 or whatever. So the thing is, getting like a sale of a game is one thing, you're $50, $60, $70. Remember, not everyone buys it day one, right? A lot of people wait for sale, maybe of that Xbox only get, $50 or $40. Whatever. But what is the bigger piece of the pie and why PlayStation revenue is so high? Keep in mind, PlayStation revenue is double what Steam's is, right? It's because they get that 30% cut. What you really want is 30% of that $850, right? Because not only do you get your first party sales on your ecosystem, which means you get 100% of it, you also get 30% of everything they ever buy. Every DLC, every microtransaction, every season pass. And that is what Xbox is losing at the moment. And the more they push towards PC, the more they lose that on the Xbox side. So again, I hope it works out for the math of it is.
And Mark is like, come on, Grunts, I'm going to kill you. And I was always like, does your husband last longer in bed after him's dead? I'm like, holy shit, what the hell?
I really can't stand that shit on Amazon Prime. It's so fucking annoying.
Wait, so Moonshot, he was answering me here. He goes, can't believe Xbox has a number of titles like Fable, State of Decay 3, etc. announced at the launch of the Xbox Series X and won't release till Helix launch year. Mooch, I got no trust left. I mean, Moonshot, I hear you. He's saying the two games that everyone's very excited about in Fable and I'm excited for State of Decay 3. I know a lot of people have said, Mooch, I'm not feeling that as much, but I think if they do the untethered thing and they actually do missions right and camps right and you can have your friends and go out and do whatever you want to do.
They've already confirmed a whole bunch of that. They confirmed
Good.
it's untethered. They confirmed
I'm excited for State of Decay 3. Yeah.
And before, you could only have one community at a time, and then you have to relocate your community to a bigger base, right? Now you can have four bases going at the same time, and you can hop between them because the map's so big. So you can have multiple bases, and there's a lot more dynamics between will survivors actually be friendly or not, and you can actually communicate with them and get quests and whatnot. It's like, oh, one of the State of Decay YouTubers who I follow, he had some details about it, and he was like, yeah, for example, one of the quests he gave him, oh, my child is still trapped in the house and is surrounded by zombies or whatever. Go save my child, right? And there's a special quest, and you could go do it. Or
that's what I want. That's what I want.
But then if you find like survivors out in the world, like they're not going to be friendly with you because it's an apocalypse, right? And other people are going to be wary of other people, and if you like failed a negotiation, they might just turn on you and start shooting. And then that obviously has impacts like how many survivors do you get versus communities that you make friends with. So they took everything and they just expanded it even more.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm really hyped about it. I was like, yo, all these details are
comes
great.
out next year.
Me too.
It does. It should.
It should. 2027, and when they put their date on, they don't put a date on it. They just put a year, and it's like
State of Decay too. The Undead Labs is notorious for a delay, so hopefully not. I'm looking forward to that game. I really am, and I think that'll be a great. Man. Matua says, Nib, what is Xbox's market share in the console space? And he
market share in the console space right now, we don't know, but between 34 and 39 million or something, I think that's the estimation.
Okay.
Or maybe it could be over 40, but I don't know.
Yeah,
basically, there's a lot of controversy around this because some numbers have them much lower, and then the DDA or something like that. Their numbers who work for they do some tie-in with Take-Two. Their numbers from last year put a spanner in the works, and some people estimated Xbox would be higher because of it, but then this year they revised the numbers from last year and this year back lower again, which goes back to the notion that actually Xbox is trailing.
Okay, so there you go, Matua. You asked, Nib, you shall get. Mariko says, cheap streaming Helix will be a Logitech G Cloud 2.0. Matua says, what is Xbox's share of the worldwide console operating system market? Matua, listen, you're looking for an exam. I think you can Google that stuff, buddy. Shout out to T-Rock. He says, when the business, he goes, T-Rock goes in quotes, when the business is healthy can mean anything. T-Rock, that is a very good point. So they'll revisit exclusives, right? That's what they said. We'll revisit exclusives discussion when the business is healthy. When is the business healthy? Is it when they get back to like ground zero? Is it when they're making X number of profit? Is it when? T-Rock, great point on that. Matua says, Mooch, as you said, give Asha and the team time. How long has the new leadership been in place? Rome wasn't built in a day. Matua, I agree with you. What I think all of us are saying is Asha was kind of handed the keys to a busted down vehicle, and she's trying to fix it. She's doing certain things. Jez made a great point, and honestly, there's a few people that are in the industry that have been talking about this on certain podcasts, and they're saying that, she may be doing these exclusives right now to just appease the market right now, the Xbox console owners, to give them something to feel good about staying within the ecosystem. But really the pivot, you know what I mean, Jez, the pivot may be coming, more sooner than later.
It's like she's saying, like, it's like Dumb and Dumber. It's like, so you tell me there's a chance.
You're telling me there's a chance. Right.
That's what she's doing. She's giving them just a chance.
So,
and also they can't hate on her for not.
Right, you can't.
She can say, I did try, but the numbers weren't there, right? So she's kind of taken the heat off her in that regard. So I think and I do think from a PR, like Microsoft are great at the parasocial stuff, right? Like they literally are the leaders of this. Like they're the only ones who actually do it. They're the only ones who engage in the social media side of things like this. PlayStation
I
and
got-
they're the
Nintendo.
only ones, and they're the only ones in fifth place in a 3-man race. Like, come on, man.
Yeah, and I think that is
Yeah.
why they are much more cognizant of this parasocial stuff, because they're basically preaching to a very small enthusiast choir, whereas PlayStation and Nintendo are preaching to a mass market. They're not preaching to kind of a hyper enthusiast on social media who have to put the message out for their followers. It's not like that.
Right.
You know, the people who buy the God of War Ragnarok or even Horizon Zero Dawn, 24 million sales for a new IP. Just put that in perspective. Just remember, right, the best-selling Halo of all time sold like 14.5 million copies, right? And Halo was a cultural phenom that people used to queue fucking all the way around the block for. And this Horizon Zero Dawn so-called ugly female protagonist that no one wants to play and who's boring and dull and all the rest of it sells 24 million in less than a decade. Yeah, think about that.
Yeah.
This new IP, you know, that completely has outsold one of the biggest games in all history. Like, so that's what they're dealing with. A completely different scope of things.
I will read T-Rock's super chat. It's a little out of order. I usually go in order, but because we were doing the ads, T-Rock, you know, he heard what Jez did. He goes, you kill a berserker in Gears, and then an ad comes up. Tampax will keep you fresh all day. Tampax helps make it through their day without worry of embarrassing accidents.
Can you imagine? You're covered in blood and it's a tampon ad.
T-Rock.
Ideas.
T-Rock loves he loves the super chat. Shout out to the great T-Rock, everybody.
Dude, that's definitely, like, she alluded it to so many times. Like, later this year, you'll see more like, you know, cost-effective ways of getting onto their platform and doing their stuff. Like, she is definitely going to lean into the cloud stuff, the ad stuff, because of with the different tiers and things like that. Like, I really feel like she is going to gut a lot of the smaller stuff, and she loves Activision. Like, Activision is probably her golden ticket, and she could probably get rid of everything else and just be Activision, because she said in her interview with Bloomberg that she, like, Activision's great. Like, she really likes Activision and like what they cooking. She used, and she really leaned heavy into that. So I think that's probably where she wants to go. And she knows, man, if we just have, because remember, even her the 3% margins, she said without Activision, now we're like, we suck without, like, with Activision, it's kind of like carrying things, but it's like without Activision, we had 3%. So the rest of y'all are like not good. And basically calling out. My thing is the
3% was with Activision included.
Was it? I thought you said like,
no. If you
was it with?
Back, she says 3% accountability margin, and then the following sentence she says Activision so and so. So it was that was a
so
separate,
Activision's included in it. So but the thing is, like, she does really like it, and so I really feel that she is going to focus on and she also, when she asked what gaming is, and why she even got interested in this when Satya kind of picked her, she in her mind, she made gaming about entertainment, so she feels like she's impacting entertainment with this. So TV and movies, that's why she keeps bringing those up as well, and TV shows like Fallout and things like that.
Yep.
So I think she's going to be more of the big money makers is where they're going to focus their content on. And I think the art form of the smaller games and the ones little games that they were using to fill in the Game Pass gaps, I think those are the ones that may not kind of be there. I think that's kind of her focus, because maybe she'll keep some, but I really think she's focused on the big tentpole titles that they could turn into movies, entertainment, and transcend the gaming into entertainment. So that's what I think she's going.
Well, I mean, to be fair, that is what everyone else is doing. Look at Nintendo and PlayStation; they're turning their IPs.
Oh yeah, they're doing it, but
they're turning their IPs into movies and TV shows and whatnot.
You got to have a good game of IP that people want.
Well, you also have to have a beloved IP. Like, it's really easy to make a Mario movie. Like, that is the easiest money maker on earth.
Minecraft movie and Fallout were great. So, like, they do have those.
Well, but then if you make like a Splatoon movie, I don't think anyone's going to give a shit, right?
Oh, buddy.
So, like,
but they're all doing that. But she specifically, somebody who is not knowledgeable of gaming, who got into here, she's definitely leaning into that as part of, like, why she's interested in this section. That's what I was saying, because that's why she's interested in it, is for that reason. Now, I don't say you make a game because you want to turn it into a movie. I think she make the game for what it is and make people want that IP. Because I just feel that she is being very. I don't what I don't like. I think they're talking way too much. I think now they got too many people talking because it's not just Phil running his mouth.
Right.
Now it's her, it's Booty, it's Ball. It's all.
Aaron Greenberg's back from wherever he was the last couple of years.
Yeah,
Larry Herb's out there again. I mean, they're all out there. The whole crew's out there.
They got the whole Mickey Mouse crew.
The tweets are nonstop. I mean, it was just this past weekend was just like it was overload of the same questions over and over again. It's exhausting. Night of Cypher says Sony is one game a year, Microsoft is one game a month. But sometimes Night of Cypher, and I know you don't like to hear this, but buddy, sometimes it's quality over quantity, buddy. So it depends on what you're putting out, right? Now, I think Xbox got some good games, but you can't just say, and that's not exactly one for one true.
Quality is also down to the individual as well, because what one might consider a quality game is not what one person might consider a quality game. And then that shows in whether you are fans of certain things, because Slay the Spire 2. It's a quality game, but it's not exactly budget. But it's tons of people came out to support it. It broke. It did massive numbers. It was 500K.
I mean,
or whatever.
It's a card game.
Yeah. The thing is, it's a dungeon crawling.
You gotta use it.
It's more than that, but it's
Well, yes, it is more than that.
And that probably cost not much to make, right?
Yeah. But that's the thing. I'm gonna be honest. As a console gamer, we don't care. Yeah. We don't want to play those type of games, man. I'm not saying it's a bad game, and I get from your point of view what you're saying is, a lot of times they don't have to go for the big blockbuster AAA stuff. They can have the little tinky winkies or the indie type games that are good quality. That's good, but man, you can't flood Xbox and PlayStation full of those type of games. You just can't.
No,
you just can't. But you can make lower budget quality games.
Yeah, sure.
Both Xbox, both Xbox and PlayStation.
Yeah, Soros. Right? That's how you ended up Astrobot. Ghost of Yote was only. Ghost of Yote was very inexpensive to make.
I mean, they make no budget.
So look at Soros, right? That didn't cost $400 million to make like the other ones. It's okay. It's just
funnily enough, PlayStation's recent AAA games have actually been really affordable. So Saros has a budget of 70 million. Ghost of Yote has a budget of 60 million.
Yeah.
And Astrobot has a estimated budget of 15 million. So these are actually really affordable games. And I just want to clarify, think about this for a moment, right? Ghost of Yote, less than 2,000 people credited to its development, 60 million budget. Call of Duty Black Ops 6, nearly 9,000 people credited to its development and an estimated budget of $1 billion. Even Cold War, which had far less people credited to its development, in the FTC leaks was outed as a 700 million budget. So estimated 1 billion budget, and Ghost of Yote outsold it on the PS5 in 2025. Think about that.
Yeah.
A game that cost $1 billion versus a game that cost 60 million.
Yeah, the thing is, though, Call of Duty would make its numbers back on the microtransactions because
but it's not guaranteed.
But Warzone is where they make the big buku bucks, right? Because it's nice that the COD campaign, the actual COD game sells well, but all the people are in Warzone. They're not playing. But
the thing is, though, the reason I know that is not true in this case is because if you have an accountability margin of 3% that doesn't include hardware losses, Azure, or Windows tie-in, etc., it doesn't include those things, then obviously you're not. There's actually a very high chance that right now Xbox is actually operating at a loss, right? Think about that. 3% operating margin, accountability margin is not enough. When you include all the other losses, there's a chance it could actually be lost, not even a profit. And then the thing with that is, think about where Activision was before they were purchased. Activision before would be making $2 to $3+ billion a year profit, right? Operating income. And now under Microsoft's wing, Xbox wing, they are potentially either the other side of Xbox or them themselves, we don't know. It's gone to potentially being loss or extremely low.
Yeah, speaking of Call of Duty, what I wanted to ask you guys, what do you think of the Call of Duty being so close to Gears and that release date for Gears, though? I think it's kind of close.
Well,
Especially
No,
if
it's not.
multiplayer.
It's not. It's not.
For
It's like
multiplayer, it kind of is, especially if you're relying on
Yeah.
PC
Yeah, for
people,
multiplayer,
right? Because
that's
the
what I'm
minute the minute
Yeah.
Call of Duty comes out multiplayer, and I know you said people aren't playing multiplayer, but you know what they are? That first month they are DS on PC.
Yeah, and then
Yeah,
and then they're taking all their loot and shit and going to Warzone.
That's fine,
Like-
but they're not going back to Gears multiplayer. That's the problem.
Well, no,
Yeah.
And it has Gears,
but
and it
then
has that
again,
Horde mode
Gears
too in it.
Right.
Gears has a very different, like it's a very different game to Call of Duty though. So I think they have two very different people who will enjoy that. Because
Yeah, but it's not about that.
It's
It's
not-
about
yeah.
the attention, right?
Right.
On that,
She said
just think
attention.
about it.
That's what she
The
said,
last 3 months, of the year, right? We know it's filled with Call of Duty, and now it's going to be GTA 6 added into that equation.
Mhm.
That's a time frame where nobody should release a game. And if you release a
in
game
August.
in that, within that time frame, even if you drop in the beginning, people play your game for a week or two, and then they're on to the COD, and then after that it's GTA 6, and nothing else matters after that. Nothing else matters. They're never going back to that.
but then again,
Everybody's going to be focused on GTA 6 and COD.
but then again, if the rumor's true, most people just play Gears for the campaign. They said it's about 15 hours long, right? So you can
Right.
beat the campaign before you go to Call of Duty, and
Well,
then
and that's true. You know you're right. But,
Oh,
but
yeah.
They actually put the Horde mode in
who's
there,
gonna-
dude. That's 12.
yeah,
Yeah.
but the
Horde
thing
mode,
is,
and then
yeah.
But don't Microsoft always talk about user engagements? Isn't that their metric?
Yes,
It's how many gamers
It's
are
atten-
doing
well,
that
she
thing.
said it's
But then
attention. And the
again-
thing
but
is,
then
why
again,
would
they-
you have Call of Duty? Why don't you
Yeah.
put Gears out? Like they moved Halo 3 because of Call of Duty that year. They put Halo 3 in September back in the day
Yeah.
because of Call of Duty. Now
Yeah,
you
you
own
can't
Call
do
of
that
Duty.
this year because look at how stacked it is.
I said they
And
should have done
and-
Gears
and
in
also-
August.
They should have done
and
August.
also-
I said
and-
August too.
Also, it's like who gives a shit about Call of Duty when GTA launches? Like,
Well, they
so
did
all
a,
of
well,
it's
I'm
gonna
just saying
fucking
they
die.
did a big
right?
campaign
When-
for Call of Duty. It's back. It's not a like an off year. This is the big year for Call of Duty. And 3
Yeah,
weeks
Call of
before
Duty
that
did
is
good.
the next Gears of War game with a full multiplayer and a Horde mode.
Yeah.
I think it's just
Yeah.
so close.
Thing is, though, Gears, if you're just playing the campaign, which a lot of people are gonna do, they're not gonna mess with the multiplayer.
Mhm.
They said it's only like a 15-hour campaign, right? So you could bang that out before you go on to Call of Duty, and then you'll
But it also
you'll
has
only
co-op
be,
campaign too, online
Yeah,
campaign. like,
Yeah.
it has
but
those
then
things.
again, you'll only be on Call
You're just
of
talking about
Duty.
just the multiplayer, though. I'm talking about the game itself, the Gears franchise. Like I would give the Gears franchise more of a show, like a its own room,
A time to
rather than
shine.
Put it
Yeah.
right next to Call of Duty with campaign Call of Duty, multiplayer Call of Duty, Warzone updates. Like Call of Duty
Yeah,
is
yeah,
going to
but-
try to.
but-
Take
See,
up
I
the
think
end
you
of the
guys
month.
are looking at, but DS,
No,
you and
but-
Jez are looking at the future with Call of Duty. I see what you're saying, DS. You're like you have 2 weeks to play a 15-hour game. I get you, but what I'm saying to you is
It's
September. My problem though, Jez, is think 1 month back. September
not
is so stacked that
No,
you're
I
going to
said
be playing.
August. I said
No,
August
I
for
know.
Gears.
No, I'm with you with August, but I'm saying the problem with October 6th is not the fact that COD comes out in 2
Oh, I
weeks
see what
after.
you mean.
I'm saying you're going to play Phantom Blade Zero. You're going to play Wolverine. You're going to play Silent Hill Townfall. You're going to play Onimusha, and then you're going to play Gears, and then you're going to play Call of Duty, and then you're going to play GTA 6. See the point? My point is by the time
and
you
Pod
get
Racer
to
releases the same day as
and
Gears 2, the Star
right,
Wars.
Star
But
Wars,
like,
right? Yeah.
But then again, the same shit could be spun back on you. It's like, but then people aren't going to play Onimusha because they're too busy playing other games. People aren't going to play these other games because they're too busy playing other games. And then we'll call it.
Yeah,
But
but
nobody's
yeah, but
not gonna-
DS.
That's thing is Microsoft
Gears.
owns Call of
The thing
Duty
is
and
that,
Gears.
like,
That's
the
both their
whole
games.
Right.
the whole
That's-
year is fucked. Call of
Yeah,
Duty is
but
fucked because
if
everyone's going to jump on Call of Duty.
Listen, if
for
Activision,
exactly, hang on, no, Jez. Everyone's going to jump on Call of Duty for 2 weeks. Then
2
that
weeks.
shit is going to motherfucking peer because GTA releases.
That's
Soon as
not. Hold
GTA
on.
releases-
That's singer. That's not true because GTA 6 is not on PC. So PC
No,
guys have no choice but to keep playing COD.
Yeah, but the majority of the COD fan base is on console, not PC. So it's
So it's really it's
COD
it's
makes the
really
most
PC.
COD-
Yeah, so,
COD makes the most money on PlayStation, right? So
yeah.
all those people on PlayStation, they're gonna go GTA releases, bet.
Well, that's a
Well,
Microsoft
but
problem.
that's thing.
Like,
what I'm saying is
so-
like, yeah, if Activision
that's
was
a
on its
Microsoft problem.
own and this is an Activision published game, then yes, you're not going to be able to do that. But Microsoft owns both of those games. They own Activision. They own Call of Duty. They own Gears. They're basically stacking their own deck there. That's what I'm trying to say. Is like, and they pulled and so what I think probably is going to happen is that Gears will probably be played in Game Pass because Call of Duty's not in Game Pass. So that kind of gamer will probably just Game Pass
Anybody know the budget for Gears? Anybody? I would love to know what's the budget.
I just think it's
for
too
Gears.
close. That's all I'm thinking.
Mm-hmm. I would love to know the cost of making Gears E-Day. What that cost is.
Yeah, that actually will be interesting to find out.
Like it was good. I'm playing Gears. I'm more excited about Gears than Call of Duty.
I'm gonna wait for it to go to PlayStation.
You got Control. You got Control coming up September 24th. Thank you, Real Vid. I appreciate that. There's just I just think what happens is there's two things we're not talking about here. We're talking about everything in accordance of time. Time is definitely part of the equation. The other is money. Like there's at least 3 games that everybody I've talked to can't wait to play in September, right? So all of a sudden you've paid 70 times 3 for those games, and now you've got, let's say you're a Gears fan. Like if you don't have Game Pass and you don't have an Xbox, now there's Xbox like no problem. Just go buy an Xbox. So now you're gonna spend $500 and you're gonna spend $70 for Gears. It's just it's I'm telling you, they should have done August.
And they pulled it off of they not put it on PlayStation. That's 100 million consoles. So they made this a console exclusive on PC, on Xbox. And the thing is like you make it 3 weeks before Call of Duty, the game that you own. I would have put Gears in August, and I would have put Gears in August too. Get people to buy an Xbox in August.
Is though, it'll actually do fine because like Phantom Blade Zero ain't on Xbox, so that being next to Gears doesn't matter. Doesn't give a shit. No one on Xbox.
It's the same day,
there, right?
Yeah, but
Silent Hill Townfall isn't on Xbox, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
Control is.
So the only games
that are really
going to compete for them is Onimusha, Control, and like Trails and Blood of the Dawnwalker. Bear in mind, Wolverine isn't on Xbox, right? So you don't have that competing with the time slot. So if you're an Xbox only gamer, those 3 games are automatically out the window anyway. So then what's your choices? You're going to play Onimusha, Control, and Gears. There's your 3 games, right?
Yeah, I mean, I see what you're saying as far as that, but still, you're assuming that somebody wants to spend, $210. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm telling you, this holiday is crazy, and GTA has spread everybody out. But the whole point is that you are the publisher and owner of these 2 games. Why would you put 2 big multiplayer games right? Like
one's gonna feel the pain. If you're talking about single player DS, I'm with you. If you're talking about multiplayer, I think multiplayer is gonna really get hurt.
I think they have the analytics. I think more people play the campaign than they do Gears multiplayer. More people who buy the game just play the campaign.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's just the hardcore will play the multiplayer, and then the hardcore Gears guys. So like all those people in Brazil and whatnot, I know they have a massive Gears community out there. Like those kinds of people, because if you ever play Gears Online, you've seen the flags. When you see a team with the flags, you already know hard body karate. You're not going to stand a chance. So those people go for the game, but most people will buy it for the campaign. And the campaign is only 15 hours long. You could bang that out in like 1 gaming session, maybe 2, right? So I think most people will get it, bang the campaign out, and then carry on about your day. Because it's not long. If it was like a 40-hour game, I'd give you that. But it's not. It's only like a 15-hour game.
Nah, bro. I don't know why people... I'm sure be in a day, but you got family, you got kids, you got even bloody James Bond 007 First Light took me
that's thinking like eating in his seat and shitting and pissing in his pants. He ate 15 hours a game in one day.
No. Okay.
That shit will take me over a week.
Hey, Jez.
It was a bit of an exaggeration, but you get the point.
Jez and DS, that reminds me, that'll be a perfect in-game ad. This is brought to you by Adult Pimp. whatevers.
Yeah,
Yes.
Don't diapers. Play all day.
Yes.
You know exactly what I mean, even though I exaggerated it a bit. You know what I mean. It's not going to take long to beat that game. A 15-hour game doesn't take.
Well,
They did
Xbox
mention
has-
that
they've
15
got
hours, and then they added collectibles. So I don't know if they're including all those collectibles
So-
in the 15 hours. They said.
I
So.
mean,
So-
I thought that was a little weird. They're like, and we got the most collectibles ever. I'm like,
I gotta
just give me
listen,
the cog tag,
guys.
don't need all the
I got a couple of
collectibles.
super chats, and I got a question for you guys. This is going to be interesting. Matua says it's like really seeing a God of War game with Kratos not as the main character. This is when we were talking previously. Sorry about that, Matua. I tried to keep up. Matua comes back and says, "J Dub, you saying PlayStation fans don't do the same when leaving reviews?" That was when we were talking about the reviews between Steam and all of that. Babor says, "Anyways, I'm happy and satisfied after seeing LaFay, Shang Tsung, a guy, gameplay and graphics. Look at that hair, skin density, the mud. Take my money." Babor's ready to go. Knight of Cypher says Xbox bad. So he's saying that's all we're saying. We're not saying that, buddy. It's just there's a lot going on in Xbox. If you've read all the articles, you see what's going on. We're not saying Xbox is bad. The CEO of Xbox said they're in a bad place right
This
now.
is bad.
Yeah, so Knight of Cypher, don't take it up with me. Take it up with the article, buddy. Guabzilla says Gears franchise ain't a system seller. Its best day was 6 million sold. Days Gone did 8 and didn't even get a sequel. Look at Guabzilla coming in here with some stunning numbers.
Correction. 9 million.
That's right, Jay. Let's correct that, please. Thank you for the record.
Yeah.
Knight of Cypher says Saros is a system seller. I think he's being sarcastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not. It's not.
Yeah, it's definitely not.
Mooch, can I ask one question?
Please do.
Before Asha came, right? There's a certain community and a ton of the media talking heads. They were all saying that, this is the future and this is the way things are going.
This is the way.
Xbox is on the right path, and Game Pass is sustainable. And,
Yep.
and Helix and going the PC route with Steam and all that stuff on the Helix is the way to go. Like they were all rah and full throated, like supporting of this. And Asha comes, and now all of a sudden. Thank you, Asha. Everything was so bad, and thank you for letting us know.
Absolutely.
And like what happened?
Yeah.
What a 360
we've
in
been-
a short period of time.
I'm telling you right now, and I don't care how much flack I get, that there is not a more spineless and tribalistic fandom in all of gaming. In all of gaming. And think about it, right? And I know I don't care how many people hate me in the comments. Think about it, right? Imagine supporting the platform that has basically been bodied by the competition for a decade or two straight, right? Like at least over 10 years. I don't know exactly when the Xbox One and
15
whatever
years,
came out.
correct.
Yeah, 15 years. I would say towards the end of the 360 life cycle when they started pivoting to Connect. From then on, basically, they've been superseded by the competition by a massive way. But they still have their devout following and supporters, right? Like so adamantly supporting every move and every strategy they make. But the very premise of that, if you're supporting something that by all statistical merit has has worse reception in its IP, has less critical acclaim, less user support, less user awards, less sales in every metric, right? So you are naturally inclined towards something that is at least perceived lesser. So naturally, they're going to be pivoting left and right because they're already so tribalistic. Whereas like me and you, right? I used to main on 360. Back in the day, I used to main on PC. Before that, I used to main on Nintendo. I'm not like that. Just like with my cars, right? I will switch to any fucking brand. I don't care. Chinese, German, British, American. It doesn't make no difference to me. I just want the highest quality. If you give me a high quality engine that has great efficiency, BHP to the fuel economy and all the rest of it, if the interior feels nice, if everything feels good, the mechanics of it feels nice to use inside the cabin, all of that stuff, I'm going to switch to your car. And in the same way, if PlayStation wasn't providing me the games that I like the most, and Nintendo wasn't with Zelda, etc., I wouldn't be like singing their praises. Honestly, I wouldn't give a shit. I don't care who the face is behind PlayStation. I don't even care about the brand. The name of the console could literally be dog shit, and that would be fine by me. At the end of the day, the only thing I care about is the games. And yet you got these people who literally every pivot, TV Connect is the future, DRM is the future, friggin' PC Play Anywhere is the future.
Don't forget Game Pass.
Is the future.
Yeah.
Cloud is the future. Again, every time they pivot, and they went from hating on exclusives because what their platform was doing different and the others weren't, to now once again. And it's just so spineless, dude. Like, I don't have time for those people. I need authentic people who have authentic beliefs and preferences, right? Not that's just going to be swayed by narratives and PR.
Yeah, 100%. I agree with you. It doesn't. If you think about any other product, the best way to put it, and even put it in terms of out of gaming, any other product, you don't know who the CEO is. You just give a shit if the product you bought is a quality product. That's the way it is. That's the bottom line. You don't know who the CEO is. Nobody. Whether you're
imagine I bought a Samsung phone because I don't know. I don't even. I don't be racist. I don't even know fucking CEOs. But
a lot of people. Like, a lot of people have an LG. A lot of people have LG OLEDs right now, right? Because everybody's tweeting out, I got an LG. Right, but does anybody know who the CEO and the CFO and the COO is? No. Right? You're just like, I like the way this TV works. I don't mind the price. I'll pay it. It gives me an outstanding output. Perfect. Done. That's why I said I was kind of hoping when the new regime came in, I was excited. I was like, let's get some good action out there, put out a great product, and let's stop talking. And the talking kept going. I hope maybe they'll stop
now, dude.
It is. It's almost worse.
Mooch, one of the things that ticked me off when I first saw that thing, and I'm like, why are these memos being shared by her and put on Xbox Wire where like
I think it leaked though, didn't it leak?
No, they put it on Xbox Wire. She tweeted it out.
Oh, I thought she did it after the leak, being like, "Here's full disclosure." I don't know. Or maybe I'm wrong.
After the leak, I
don't know. I thought it was leaked.
It should not be on Xbox Wire.
No,
it's basically like ultimatum to her internal employees.
Yeah, you don't see an internal memo at Nintendo come out.
No,
you just don't. You just don't see it.
It's just like all her memos are coming out, and even if they're leaked, you don't like it. It was meant for your internal employees, global employees. It was not meant for public on Xbox Wire. You know, if it leaks, it leaks. But like, you should not engage in that and share it out and just put it on, because there's no disclosure there's nothing the fans, the media. This is not for them. This should be for just your employees. And knowing about hard times and doing that was not a rally call. That email was like, hell is coming and I'm bringing it. And because I got to change this disaster that I inherited. Mm-hmm. And I just feel that it was not very tasteful that she linked it and put it on Xbox Wire, and it's officially there as like a PR statement. Yeah. And it's basically an ultimatum to her people that hard times are coming. And I know it's probably a way for them to kind of communicate to investors about what's going on, but I just don't think that belongs on the Xbox Wire thing. That belongs like in a business memo or something like that. And I just thought it was really whack that they did that.
It is. You know, shout out to Night of Cypher. He goes, all you talk about is Xbox, Cope. Buddy, Xbox is in the news. Everybody from GameSpot to IGN to everything, everyone's talking about, because of all the shakeup. And when you have a CEO and all the people that work under the CEO tweeting for 7 days straight, different opinions and what they're going to do in their interpretation of Xbox and the new pivot, and you'll find out soon. What do you think people who are doing podcasts are going to talk about? Right? Nintendo and PlayStation are not coming out. They don't have any statements. They don't have anything. They showed their game show and they're on to making games. Xbox is the one that's talking about all this stuff. That's just the way. By the way, it's not Cope. I know everybody on this panel. I think that singer even still has his. Everybody here has an Xbox Series X. Everybody here has a PlayStation 5, and everybody here, for the most part, has a PC. And I know Nib will be
correction.
What do you got, Jay?
Correction. Everyone here has a PlayStation 5. Not everybody has an Xbox.
No. Actually, not everybody has a PlayStation 5. No, that's right.
No. Oh, I have correction. I don't have a console.
DS doesn't have any consoles.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, he has a PlayStation. Don't let him fool you.
No, I don't.
Let you know, but he has it.
No, I don't.
He doesn't.
No,
that's
what's crazy. I think one thing somebody in the chat was like, "Well, what are you talking about if it didn't leak?" You know what's crazy is that they showed some really cool gameplay to Fable. Finally, the same day, they showed that 30 minutes of Fable. They showed 30 minutes of Halo with the third-person mode, and I was like, and I even tweeted out, I was like, you know, if they said that those games are like console exclusive, only on console, and they pulled it off of Steam, and they just kind of listed Forza Horizon 6 as that. Dude, you would definitely do an eye and go like, yo, maybe it's time to get an Xbox if they just, because they're showing the games look good. And then what's crazy is that as soon as you see those two games, Here comes the Xbox Wire article from Asha tweeting it out. This is what I just sent to my team about hard times. And it was just like, yo, you just showed 30 minutes of 2 big games that are coming to your platform. And now this is the follow-up. It's again, we're back to the horse shit, back to
No,
it's the next 100 days.
It's the Xbox.
I'm just like, dude.
The Xbox MO. The Xbox MO is you have a good show or you do something positive and have everybody behind you, and then the very next day you just shit the bed. And it's like, dude, what couldn't you give these gamers, right, that fan base, a week to just gloat about having exclusives, having great games and a great
yo, man,
it's such a good point. Why did they do that?
Meg just landed, and all of a sudden he sees this bullshit from Asha. I'm like, what? Like, you just saw her, and now she just like dropped this bullshit.
It put a fog over the whole show. Like now everybody's talking about all the negative stuff, and nobody's back talking. Nobody's talking about it's that. But that's always listen. One thing I'll say about Sony, right? They do have bad news. But at least they'll throw the bad news out there, and then they'll throw some good news right behind it to make you forget. They'll be like, "Hey, here's some bad news. We're closing the studio. Oh, by the way, here's the state of play tomorrow."
That's right.
You do that shit, man.
They have great marketing. Even when it's some negative, they're gonna follow that shit up with something positive. Right? It's gonna take
J-Dub. Astrobot was like the ultimate. They could have got roasted for Concord for like months after that disaster. And it's like Astrobot.
Astrobot,
everybody. Game of the year.
Yes.
They turned around and got game of the year right after they had the worst game in history. That's crazy. Yeah.
Yes.
That dude, I'm telling you, Sony's marketing team is like bar none the best.
Yeah,
bar none the best.
Just
they
like
are
they
very
had,
good.
And Mooch is gonna like this one. Just like they had all that Wolverine awesome gameplay and the God of War to hide the disaster of Marathon. That night, I was supposed to play it with Mooch, and it didn't work on season 2.
That's right.
Yeah.
You know the hilarious thing about
that's right. It's true.
I'll tell you the funny thing about
Go ahead.
No, go on, dude. Sorry.
No, I was just gonna say there was some bad PlayStation news or something like that was kind of out in the sphere. And then all of a sudden we started hearing about the internal memo that Sony's gonna go back to exclusives and no more PC stuff. And then the whole fan base was like, "Oh yeah, high fiving," and it was like, "We're back, baby. We're back." It's stuff like that. They're good at doing that.
Yes, they are.
They do the opposite. They let the bad stuff linger, and then they don't give the good stuff enough time to fester. And it's unfortunate.
They really don't.
Man, they've been doing that for 2 generations.
It's 2 generations straight. Shout out to the great Jimmy Harrison. He says, "What is up, my brothers? Good to see Jay and Mooch. Great to see you here, Jimmy. Thank you. Appreciate that." Shout out to Jimmy Harrison. He says, then I got Mariko. He says, "It's been said that Xbox needs their own Cerny and Shuhei Yoshida. You think Asha is trying to be that second role or finding one?" I don't. I don't.
She's not a. She wouldn't know what a good game is. She's the AI lady, right?
Yeah. This next 100 days, dude. This next 100 days is basically Windows doing the mutiny and taking over Xbox. That's what this next 100 days is. This is now the AI and Windows team saying, "Okay, Xbox, you couldn't do it. We're gonna take over now, and now it's gonna be AI and Windows." And that's going to be the future, and that's exactly what this move is going to be. She's going to gut everything. She already a lot of the Xbox people that been there for 15 and 20 years are left. Once like within the first month or so, they lost like the Sarah Bond team, that whole Xbox team. Now she's there, and she didn't surround herself with that knowledge of 15 years of Xbox and all these people that have been there. She surrounded herself with her AI people. And she hired some outside people coming in there from Amazon and things like that. So she built her team, and now it's gutting time, and that's where her next 100 days. And the fact that she is so forthcoming with it, it's not subtle. No. It is like almost like I was saying, like a political run for her, because I feel like she was given a problem. And Satya's like, "Fix it." And now this is her science project.
Yeah.
And she's like, "I could fix this. I could do this." And she built it. She's like, "You just give me my team. You let me do whatever I want, and I'll fix this." Yeah. And that's what she's doing, because there's no hiding it. She's letting them know the hard times are coming. This is a disaster. And this is not going to, because you could see even in her memo about speaking about the time where she's just the amount of money. And she says at the end, "This cannot continue." Dude, she sounds like Amy in the Hood. she sounds like Satya. She is not that Phil, you know, this he would take all the blame himself. And she's just like, no, you this cannot continue. So we got a gutting.
Right.
And it's going to be
this is going to be
and she never wanted the position either. Satya appointed her.
Jez, let's tell the audience now. If you guys think it's going to be Xbox talk, wait till you guys see the next 100 days with the news that comes out, guys. July's going to be quite the Xbox news month, you know, from what we're hearing. Yeah. Danelle Brown says, hey, I wish I read this when he was here. He says, hey, Mag, when you come down to L.A., did you wear your Dodger jacket in Jersey? Of course, that's a jab as the Dodgers beat his Blue Jays. Shout out to Danelle Brown. Night of Cypher, here he is. He goes, I came here thinking you were armchair business LARPers. I was wrong. Microsoft should hire your brains. Why is it Jay, Nib, and Jez, why is it all the Xbox guys that go over to PC all of a sudden get real... All of a sudden, they know everything.
Yeah, I know, right?
That's it, because
that's single. What's going on?
Yeah, DS is not. You bring up consoles with DS, and he's gonna go off on you.
Is it the RGBs that they just like?
I don't know. I don't know what it is.
I don't know what it is about them, but they're not like what we are. So.
No, what the hell? Wait a minute.
Wait, you are a debt refugee. What are you talking about?
Actually, to quote a famous line, not like us.
Oh, DS. Oh, DS.
On your own, man. Yeah, that thing is not representing you at all.
DS said, I'm out. I am out. I am out. Shout out to DS. Craig Harris. Craig Harris says, don't squeeze the Sharma. Shout out to Craig. The Gaming Ledger. The Gaming Ledger says it's hard to obtain clients, but it's even harder to win people back. Very true. Helix was to be transitioned to PC niche box. Phil understood in the end. You know, they were going through this path, right? And it was happening with Phil. I don't think Asha is going to separate much from this. A little here, a little there. But at the end of the day, I think, like Jez said it, Jay said it, Nib said it, and I think DS, I think you signed off on it. I think they're going to move Xbox. They're going to move those players to PC. That's where they're heading. It's the same thing. Different, maybe a different road, but the same end game. The same end game. Shout out to Glassdoor. He says, Ball is a grifter. Of course he was going to say it's fixable. The dude's ideas haven't panned out yet, but he will get a payday. Shout out to Glassdoor. D487 says the Grindhouse is here. Yes, it is.
Oh, yeah.
Night of Cypher says console players are intimidated by PC. Night. Oh, God. Man, oh, man. Buddy, I got a PC. I got consoles all over the house.
I got 3 PCs.
I play, as Nib said, I play where the game plays best or where I can play the game. You know what I mean? It is what it is. Like, I enjoy my PlayStation 5 Pro very much. It's a hell of a console. I'm not going to lie to you, man. It really is. It's a hell of a console. I'm looking for, and it has exclusives on it, and that's what matters. Gears comes out. I'm going to play it on my Series X, and I'm going to play it on Steam. I am. That's it. I'm playing Gears.
I'm gonna wait for the definitive edition to come.
Oh, Jay! Wait for this.
wait. Now keep in mind, I'm the guy that said Starfield was coming.
You did, Jay.
Right?
Jay was on there.
That was me. That was me.
The way they roasted Greenberg when he was like saying the same thing about Gears, and they said, just like Starfield. Oh, man. Yo.
Yeah.
Oh God! Shout out to T-Rock. T-Rock's doing the Lord's work in the chat. Shout out to T-Rock. I still have that question I have for you guys. Matthew Shell, he says Steam is their biggest threat. They made it so easy to replace Xbox with Steam. All their games are there. No online subscription. Play anywhere, even in Linux. I completely agree. That's where they've moved. They've moved so many people on my Xbox friends list. Okay, when you go to turn it on, it shows the console. It doesn't show the console. It shows the PC. All these guys are on PC. While I'm doing this show right now, Steam is always active on the computer. Steam, all of these Xbox guys that I've known for a better part of 10 years, all popping up on Steam. They moved everybody there.
I mean, to be fair, the question you have to ask yourself is, why wouldn't you, right? If all your games are turning up on a platform that you don't have to pay to play online, right? You don't have to pay to play online. If you're building yourself a good PC, you're way more powerful than the console anyway. You're doing path tracing and shit the console could only dream of. So it's like you are just winning across the board. So if they're giving you all the games on that platform,
yes,
you may as well move to that platform because you're nothing but winning.
I'm half with you. The problem the reason I never ride all the way there, DS, is you are very, very saturated in the community bubble in the world you hang out with. People who have PCs that are going from Xbox that bought a $400 or $500 console moving to PC are not the ones that went and bought a 5080 or a 5090. These people are buying smaller budget cards. They aren't doing path tracing. They're barely if they have ray tracing, they're doing 60 frames at best. If they have higher frames, they shut off ray tracing.
Laptops.
So it's a gaming
laptops.
Not at
all. People seem to think you need like a 50 something to do path tracing.
But Steam already showed
you do it well.
Steam already showed you what majority of PC gamers are playing, and that singer again. I think you have a 5070 or a 5080 or something like that. You're in the You're in the 0.001%. Right? That's just it is what it is. So. Dude, majority of PC gamers,
and the prices are going up in the world of PC as well.
Yeah, but
so
one of the things I want to say about them moving Xbox to PC is that I don't think they want them to go from Xbox console to Steam, because they want them to go Xbox console to Windows Store. That's what the Play Anywhere is all about.
Right?
They were trying to get them to get Play Anywhere and build that library on Windows Store, because that's where they want to migrate to. Oh, you go to get your PC now coming from a console. Oh, look at all the games that you have in our Windows Store.
Right.
They don't want them to go to Steam. But the problem is because of all the the antitrust stuff that they got caught with, they cannot just take over your PC and give you Xbox Store and say this is your store now. They have to show Steam. They got to show Epic and GOG, because they cannot block those storefronts on an open platform. This is the dilemma that they're running into, moving people from a closed system of console where you can control everything to going to a Windows operating system and having to show all the other storefronts when you really want them to just go to your storefront. That's the Asha challenge that she has.
Yeah.
Like, that's the big one.
And honestly, I think DS has said a number of times, the Steam customer is too satisfied over there. They're not going to go to the Microsoft store.
They have a huge library.
They're not going to. It's the same thing with the consoles. Where Microsoft lost on the consoles, according to Phil, right? Worst generation to lose. Everybody bought their digital stuff on PS4. They moved it along to PS5. It's the same thing in PC. Everybody went to Steam, and now they want.
They're not going to buy an Xbox.
They literally, I feel like they've almost and a few other people have said this. I feel like they've let Gears just go to kind of pasture. I don't know why they did that.
Case scenario.
I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't.
They just lost money. They lost money. Just think about it.
I don't know.
When Forza Horizon 5 came to PlayStation, sold 50 million copies at full tilt, right? And that was just, and that game had been out for a couple of years, so that was just totally extra money for them. And you would think this Gears E-Day by coming to PlayStation would have had a potential to sell probably that same amount, right? 5 million or whatever. But they'll never know until eventually it fails on Xbox and PC, and then they'll say, okay, we'll.
Yeah, it's just a strange strategy that once you cross that bar and now you announced another console, why all of a sudden do you pull two games from the platform over there when you know that those people on PlayStation and Switch, they already built their libraries, and 80% of your show was games from you going there as well. Like,
to be fair, it could have been, right? And this is just a theory. It could have been. They looked at the numbers and they saw people leaving Xbox in droves, and the only way to stop that hemorrhaging,
that's what I think,
the new person was to we'll sacrifice, right? We'll sacrifice two games, not everything, but two games. That should stop the bleeding of these people moving, every day over to the, PlayStation or whatever. That's the only logical reason that I can think of them doing that.
J-Dub, and probably exactly what you're thinking. That's exactly probably why she did the same thing with Game Pass, pull out Call of Duty. Because they said they lost like 5-10 million people from the price increase. So she's like, they're hemorrhaging. We got to stop the hemorrhage, get Call of Duty, get the price down at least $7 to stabilize it, because everybody's just leaving. But you're right. I think that's exactly, and that's why they gave him the carrot for next year too. So they gave him
and if
Gears
that's
this
the
year,
case,
carrot.
and Jez, and if that's the case, which I think I'm right, and I think you're right, if that's the case, again, it goes back to what I said earlier. Everything, all this lip service that they've been giving, it's all performative.
Yep. And the poor game gets
performative.
sacrificial lamb, right? The game gets to be a test case sacrificial lamb. Just like what Jeff Gerstmann said. He's like, what he's been hearing is like, this is not an exclusive to have people buy Xbox. This is just like they're setting it out to die.
Yeah, I watched Jeff Gerstmann's show every Wednesday night, man. It is
he said it. And he's been hearing from he listens to people, and if the people are saying the reason why
he was frustrated, man. He was frustrated. He was like, what is Xbox doing? He goes, what are they doing? I don't know.
It's a dog and pony show, man. It is basically they're just putting, like you said, they're hemorrhaging. They're going over there because look, like 90% of their show, like everything, State of Decay 3 going on PlayStation. State of Decay was never on PlayStation ever.
No,
and you already made Hellblade 2 exclusive,
and that Senua game's going to go on PlayStation.
Yeah,
Fable's on PlayStation.
Minecraft Dungeons too.
Forza's coming. Grounded 2 is coming. That's what I'm saying. So the plan. Anybody who's hardcore Xbox, they're like, this is the plan. They're doing exclusives now. They're going to have a full year without exclusives. I understand Clockwork, but Clockwork is really a niche title. It's not going to break records, right?
Dude, each year,
it's a new IP.
It's not. I mean, people aren't going to run. I mean, will it do decent on Steam? I think it'll do decent on Steam, but not on Xbox.
It's going to do great on Steam.
I don't know about great.
Who in Exile is,
but
that's the thing. Is like these studios are mainly PC studios. Like in Exile, Wasteland is synonymous with PC.
That's right.
So So when In Exile say, "Oh, we got a new game coming out," guess which fan base is going to be the most excited between Xbox and Steam? It's going to be the Steam users who are a bit more excited.
But that's not Xbox on.
No. But if people like the first game, they might be interested in the sequel if it does well enough, right? It could become a franchise, just like Wasteland became a franchise.
But for that, I mean. But you got Avowed and the rest of those things didn't become
So I got a couple more super chats here, and then I got a question for you guys. Shout out to the gaming legend. He said, I tweeted about it. He said Windows is trying to replace the traditional desktop PC with the Microsoft Link streaming device. Wouldn't be surprised Xbox too. I've heard people say about that, Ledger. T-Rock says, we already read that one. Babor says we need to petition PSN to remove State of Decay. Listen, Babor, give it a chance, Babor, will you? Night of Cypher says, all you talk about is Xbox Cope. Come on, Night of Cypher. Come on, stop it. Jimmy Harrison says, my brother's good to see you. Good to see you too, Jimmy. Glassdoor says, PC gaming is trash. PC gamers exaggerate. It's been the same talking point since I started playing on PC in the early 90s. DS, you're a Linux noob. Well, I mean, listen, that's, Guapzilla.
Well, I mean, to be fair, he's not wrong. I'm not as well versed in Linux as a lot of other people, but that's because I'm pretty new to the Linux platform. So he's not wrong.
Okay.
Hey, that singer. Why? We got the Sony State of Play. We got Xbox's Summer Showcase. We got Nintendo's Treehouse and stuff like that. Why I never hear PC guys talk about the PC gaming show?
Because they do, but they don't talk about it on Twitter.
Shit. The thing is, 8-bit games, and I mean, it'd be nothing for the 5090, and for all the people that claim PC is superior and yada yada yada. Like, shouldn't y'all have your own showcase where y'all just showing off all of these good games that can't be ran, can't run on console? That's not the case. It's always a bunch of like shovelware that can run on a clock.
The reason I rated it highly is because they showed they showed me a whole bunch of games that I'm actually interested in.
What games though, DS?
The 8-bit game, the card game. Come on.
No. It's like Star Trek Outpost Unknown. That looks really cool. It's like Surviving Mars, but with Star Trek. Which is really fun. And then they have obviously Total War, Warhammer 40k, which is good. That's gonna slap so hard. They also had Happy Bastards, which is a tactical RPG, which looks absolutely fun. Bear in mind if you're noticing the kind of genres I'm listing here, if everyone's keeping up with, just saying.
RPGs,
Wardens of Avalon, guess what? That's an RPG. Oh, yeah, I mean, everyone's Archeron is an RPG. So yes, there's a bunch of games that I want to play because they will
kind of proving
reveal.
my point.
No, they're not big budget games, but they're not supposed to be.
Yeah, but none of that. That's my point was none of the games that they show every year for decades show off the power of your 50,
he's saying how come there's nothing, and don't get me wrong, right? DS, I know you want to play them, but like none of those are like you're like, oh, path tracing's gonna kick ass on this and it's gonna be that and blah blah blah.
No, it's not for that. They're just games I want to play, so I'm not looking for it. What's gonna blow the doors off my graphics card?
But for that, you look at Sony show and you look at Xbox show for the games that are going to blow the doors off your graphics card. You look at the console shows for games that blow the doors off of your PC, but you don't look at the PC show for like that. I never understood that.
Well,
that's interesting.
Most of the time it's smaller budget games or it's indie AA, but it's also like strategy.
Like you spend $5,000 for a GPU and they give you a show.
You know what's crazy, Jay? You got Valve.
But here's the thing. I spent all that money on the thing, but I'm running like for example, if I was to play Requiem, right? Path tracing. 44p scaled to 4K, 120 FPS, all the bells and whistles. But I can
exactly console games.
Yeah. But no third-party games. But the thing is,
it's console game. At
the end of the day, I can have my cake and eat it too. I can have these games and have these games. So I have the power to do. I have the power to do better than that. But I also have the power to play these.
Question,
Mike, I hear you, Jess. Yeah, it's good. So listen, here's the shout out. Before we get into DS, this is your life. Hold on. Robzilla says DS never mentioned playing to play on Xbox, pay online with Xbox. Yet with console exclusives, he says buy one. After years saying don't buy PlayStation 5, it was console exclusives. That's basically what we were just saying. What J-Dub was saying. Here's my question for you guys, and then this will be the last question of the night.
Super chat is that triggered death singer, man.
Oh boy, they do. They love to get them all riled up. Shout out to. So let me ask you guys a question. PlayStation was supposed to show Halo Combat Evolved, right? And then what happened? Supposedly last minute, they were like, Xbox was like, nope, that's not going in your show, right? They're saying this is causing bad blood. Right, it's showing relationship damage.
Pullout game is strong with Xbox.
Right? Yes, it is. So, what do you guys think? Do you guys think that this is going to be one of between the Gears thing and then taking Halo out of their show, which means they had to fill that in, which is not an easy thing to do last second. Like, hey, we're gonna take a 7-minute segment away from you. You deal with it, and you're like, okay. Even though we had a contract for this,
I think all that's horse shit. That's what I think.
Really?
I think that was, I heard, Know why? Because they actually showed the PlayStation trailer running on a PlayStation Pro on the official Halo channel.
Yeah.
So if Asha pulling it off a Sony show, just to have the official Halo channel show the PlayStation 5 Pro version running, the first sentence is at the bottom, then Asha doesn't know. Like, she's pulling out one thing.
To be fair, though, but Jess, to be fair, it's less about showing Halo running on PlayStation. It was more about Halo being shown on the competition show, on their showcase.
But then they just had
during the 25th anniversary. Like I get what you're saying, but think about it.
But they stacked a whole theater of Xbox diehard fans with fan on their thing, and they showed PlayStation logos at their own show. What did it matter?
But Jez, listen. I'm not gonna lie.
They're hiding it.
You know how disrespectful that would have been to the Xbox community to have Sony in their showcase, right? That was already fantastic. But to cap it off, to end it with their flagship game, the face of their of their box, that would have been. I mean, I'm gonna be honest. If she did that, if she pulled it, I understand it.
I do. Yeah, I get
it. Man, she pulled it, but like the Xbox game is not that good. But she didn't. She only did a handful out. She still the
Do you think? So guys, wait. So you guys are talking about that hypothetical. Here's my question. And shout out to Hero Down Under. He says, Mooch. He says, Mooch. What I want to know is what will Ken Sony do to punish Xbox for pulling out the Halo trailer? I don't think it's the word is punish. Is there going to be any type of retroactive behavior from PlayStation where they're like, hey, you know what? This is kind of bullshit. I thought we had a deal. You don't want to do this. That's fine. But now we're going to say blank. What do you think? Is there anything there, or no, this is just going to go down, or there is no bad blood at all? It's fine.
Well, you can't
I'm
kick a
sure
dog.
there's bad blood.
I think something.
You can't kick a dog when it's already down. I mean, like, it's like, fuck. Well, I mean, they're already last place, like I said, in every, like, they're already struggling. Like, they're like, what can you do? Like, they're already down. Like,
yeah.
Like,
Jay, Xbox, if they are starting the console war, they're starting with water balloons.
yeah. But here's the thing.
Come on, listen. The thing is that this is what I don't get. Like, yeah, pull it off a Sony show. If you're gonna pull it, then you do not show Sony logos on your show at the 25th anniversary. You don't have your official Halo channel show Sony running Halo. You let PlayStation run it on their own channel. Why do you put it on your official Xbox, your official Halo channel? So, like, I understand if it is real that she pulled it, but you want to know what the thing is that if that's the messaging, then why is she doing half measures? Like, then be serious about it. Pull it off of everything. But the problem is, it's still coming. It's still going on PlayStation.
Yeah.
Like, it's still going to be there. It's like you could hide all you want, like la la la, put your fingers in your ears. It's happening, and you got to deal with it.
The Xbox fan base. Remember the day before the show, they were crying about logos. Remember Logo Gate? They were like, well, we don't want to see the logos. We're going to take that off. Sony don't show the logos. And it's like, okay, if we still know it's coming, what does it matter if they show logos or not? It's still coming.
Jay,
and I get that.
Jay, how come from a business standpoint, why doesn't Microsoft Windows department listen to our team's issues? You know what I'm saying? Can they fix any of those things while we're at it?
Exactly.
They listen to this,
but
they don't listen to like the problems we're all having in the office.
Yeah,
you know exactly. I mean? So it's like, my God. No, you know it's funny.
It's all half measures.
Shout out to Glassdoor says drop God of War the same day as Fable. That's how you get him back. He says. No, it's funny. You always wonder here. PlayStation gets a percentage of money off of Xbox's games. We all know all that stuff. That's all old news. But it's interesting, if they really do end up going back to a state of like console war, not console war like we do online, but real console war the way like Sega, Genesis, and Nintendo did back in the day. You say they can just turn around. They won't do this, but you could be like, oh, Forza, don't bring Forza to PlayStation then. You know what I mean?
No, they'll just put it on page 5 of the PlayStation Store. Like,
they won't market it. They won't market it. Jez is right. It'll just be, you got to go and search for it. The game won't be on the front page and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, Sony,
they could do that.
They can do that. That'll hurt. That'll hurt because we've heard developers many times say, thank you, Sony, for putting us on the first 2 pages, because if it wasn't for that, nobody would be able to find our game and stuff like that. And so, I mean, it also makes sense.
And also, too, I think Sony is going to I think Sony also is not only doing this for the first party stuff, I think they're going to be very aggressive now with second party deals.
That's what I was saying.
They got all the leverage right now because Microsoft is in a state of turmoil. Asha's stating that publicly. I was just sitting there when I was reading that line where the guy's like, we can't make enough consoles for the demand. I'm like, imagine GTA 6 sitting there going like,
Jez, listen, I threw the tweet out there. Yeah. It's interesting. It's not, like I said, it's not like I'm getting 1 million people who, 57 likes, not a big deal. But like, hear me out. Like, that's crazy. But you see a game like Clutch right now that competes, like they're just going to go get timed exclusives with a lot of these companies right now, and these people are going to sign. They're going to sign because they're going to get a bag, and it's going to eventually go to Xbox. But like they're going to do this, I think, for the rest of next year to go to old school Sony and go get those timed exclusives. If Square Enix doesn't want to do it with them anymore, and these others, they're going to do it with these other. Look at Control. Yeah. If you pre-order Control, you get you play it on PlayStation 48 hours before. Now you probably go, Mooch. I don't. A lot of people who are Xbox fans go, I don't give a shit. I'll wait the 48 hours. Correct. You will. I believe you. But if you are a streamer or you just love Control or Remedy, you're gonna. Or you have both consoles. If you have both consoles in your house right now, you're like, well, I'm gonna play it over there because I can play it on Tuesday, and Xbox can't play it till Friday. So it's like, well.
Hey, Mooch.
You know,
we'll be streaming. We'll be streaming it and spoiling the story.
well, there you
48
go.
hours later.
Right?
I know.
You know, so
That's
it's
what I
like
mean,
it's
she
crazy.
doesn't
Like,
know.
but that
She
kind
don't
of shit
know
works. It gets people to
and what I'm
buy.
saying, like Mooch, you read that article, that public thing that they made public, and if you're a developer and you see what's going on over there, and they're in a state of like they don't know what their future is, and they're going to be doing all these changes, like you got, and you're making an Xbox console game, you're just like, yeah, this is not good. Like, you know, so Sony definitely has the mind share there because Xbox is in rebuild mode. Like, you're not going to go to a restaurant. You wait a second. You got 2 restaurants, right? Right, Mooch, like the foodism.
Yeah.
You got 2 restaurants. One's under construction, and then the other one, it looks beautiful, brand new. Like, where you going to eat dinner?
Where you going to go?
One that's under construction.
Right. No, even if they promise you a great menu to come later, it doesn't. You're like, no, I'm going to go over there. You know, and that's just the way and that goes back to what Nib was saying.
Doors are boarded up
about
like,
a quality.
Under renovation,
a quality product.
Yeah?
No, that's it. A quality product that works really well. Bang, done.
But that's why a lot of more and more publishers are actually just dropping Xbox though. Like, and not even with publishing deals because of marketing deals. Like we talk about third party, PlayStation being more aggressive on third party deals. I think they've gotten to a point where they don't even need to do that anymore because like people are just doing it anyway, like with that 13XO, with Silent Hill Townfall. I don't think these games have marketing. Obviously, they have the marketing rights, but they haven't paid for exclusivity. They've just decided, look, for now, there's not as many sales on this platform. If we don't have a Game Pass deal, then there's no point, basically. One of those type situations.
Like what is that game? What was it? The Guild Wars 3? Guild Wars? That was shown. And then they got, and when we're going over to like the release games in September, we already said like,
Phantom Blade Zero,
Xbox, Silent Hill's not going to Xbox, like.
Control's got the 40. Control's got the 48-hour early on PlayStation. That's in September.
And we haven't even got to GTA 6 yet.
Marketing,
so
we don't know what you're gonna get. Yeah, you might get like online money for buying it on PlayStation. You might get an extra mission.
Oh, shit, yeah.
I don't know.
Or what if we get to play it like a week earlier or 5 days earlier?
Dude, a game like that
would be shit.
I don't know about that, but that would be if they do that. That's wild.
But you're right. The marketing mind share is there. Like the fact is, like this is not the time for her, and and she keeps saying Windows and we're the biggest publisher. Like they still want to be a publisher. Like they don't want to be the Xbox console exclusive thing, they still want to be a publisher, so they want their cake and eat it too, and it never worked. Like you got to be either or if you want to make hardware. And then the other thing that I don't know if you guys talked about it, just to throw out there, I think we're going to start seeing other people making Xbox computers.
We said that
Xbox brand.
Asus, MSI. Yep. No, I was melting.
But that's
outside.
Probably what's next for them. I was melting.
Hey, shout out to the great Brap who's in the chat. Brap will be back in July, guys. That's right. You guys know him as coach right now of Basement Radio Arcade Podcast. Will be back on the show in July, so it'll be great to have him here. I will do this. I'm going to wrap up the show right now. We are at literally 3 hours, 33 minutes. Very nice number right there. I want to say shout out and thanks to everybody.
Hours right
there. It really is. Well, Jez is probably going to go do a show right after this, to be honest with you. Let's just be honest, all right? I'm going to play games, he says. Yo, shout out to you guys. Thank you guys for the super chats. I really do appreciate it. You guys are all amazing. I'll go in reverse order and say, Jez, thank you for stopping by. Honestly, I didn't think you would stop by because it was so late and you were sitting out there. You probably have like sun fever or some kind of illness from being out there so long. We're not used to the sun yet up here in New York.
No, we're not.
But Jez, let people know you can find you. Thanks for joining us tonight.
Sure, no problem. Yeah, you can find me at the Gaming Grindhouse on Monday nights, and also I do podcasts throughout the week. Also, I do some Gaming Grinds, which is my stream and podcast. And I've been doing community nights. So, like, I have guys come into the Discord or into the chat. We have the community come in there, and we just kind of do like a panel as I play games, so I could get to play and have everybody kind of grind their gears while we're playing games there. So that's what we're doing there. I'll drop the link in there. But yep, that's the Gaming Grindhouse, and hit that like button. And yes, thank you for. I wanted to make sure I got on the show because it's been a crazy week. Great games though, like that's a good thing. There's tons of games, man.
My God, there really is, dude. So whatever you do go out and enjoy it for sure. Shout out to the great J Dub, who also Jay, did you get home safe or are you still?
I did.
Listen, Jay.
I got home, brother.
Jay, I'm very listen. First of all, thank you for being here tonight. Second of all, very impressive that on the way home still podcasting. I mean, I'm sorry, but that's dedication to a level that I'm really not familiar with. Man. It's unbelievable. The great J Dub, everybody, go over and check it out. Jay actually joined me and Blaze for the State of Play, so it's over there on the channel. Go over and check it out. We did our live reactions. Jay, let people know they can find you. And thanks for being here tonight.
Yeah, you guys can find me on Twitter at JDubCity16. Every now and then you can check me on YouTube at JDub for you, and always family around here and the CrossFire show.
He's on the show.
Yeah, definitely. Or the Grindhouse. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So yeah.
Yo, shout out to you, Jay. I appreciate you being here. The great Nib was with us as well. Nib, and I heard, by the way, I'll say bless you on air. I heard you sneeze earlier. I heard you sound a little under the weather. I actually am just getting a little better earlier this week. And when we were podcasting over the weekend, I'm lucky my voice held up. It's starting to go a little bit again. Dude, yeah. I'm feeling what you're feeling, Nib. So hopefully you feel better. But thank you for being here tonight, Nib.
Yeah, no worries at all. No worries at all. By the way, did you see my last tweet that I put up?
I did not.
I know it's console warring, but come on, man. Like, I think Fable looks great, and I think the graphics are phenomenal.
Yes.
But you can't look at those friggin' animations and lip syncing and tell me that isn't like several generations behind them.
Hold on,
I put a clip from Horizon Forbidden West. I put a clip from Baldur's Gate 3. I put a clip from Kingdom Come Deliverance 2.
Oh yes, he did.
Just compare them. I
don't understand like the whole like choose if the pig lives or dies. Like I hope this like
is there more to worry about than that?
The pig
listen, Fable's never been my jam. I'm not going to sit here. I have been biting my tongue. You guys, anybody who's been following me on this channel for the last 12 years. knows Fable's really not my bag. I'm biting my tongue. I'm going to wait until we see a little bit. I know they released the 30 minutes, but the 30 minutes was very slow. It was very drawn out. There wasn't a lot of action there. They showed a little bit of fighting. The fighting was okay. But this is another game where I know DS loves it, so it's fine. Not going to go in on DS with it. I know it's one of his bags. He loves it.
Yeah.
But for me personally, Nib, this is another like Obsidian / a Bethesda game with the dialogue that doesn't end.
The more I've seen of it, the less excited I've been. And remember me on your show, I was like, I really think this could be their first game of the year winner.
Yep.
But like the more I see of it, I'm just like, I'm not sure. Like the thing I always say from a design perspective, right? With racing games, you can have a focus on quantity because they don't have emotion, storytelling, and all the rest of it, right? The content run is basically the crux of the game, but it's not like that with an RPG or an action RPG or even an adventure game or whatever. The resonance, the characters, the writing, all of that has to really hit. And the only thing I'm concerned about from what I've seen is like it seems like a case of quantity over quality, because when they say like there's like 1,000 handcrafted these, that actually does nothing for me. It sounds good as a PR soundbite, but what I'm interested in is what's the quality of those NPCs? What are their conversations? What are their writing like? How are their animations?
Like they showed the guy go up and he's trying to court a female, and he's like blah blah blah. And he's talking, and she's like I like someone that owns property. I like someone. So he's like, what you do then is you go out and you can buy a store, and you can buy any store, and I'm like, okay, so like. It's just,
and I thought that was kind of derivative, and not just that. When they have the day, it's just like glossed over. It's like there's like a soundtrack over it. You don't actually hear what they're talking about. Right. It's like, where's the cute dialogue? Where's the flirting? Where do I get the nuances? Do I get to make any choices? Do I get to compliment on anything about her?
I'm sure that's in there, but like the way that they showed it was very like I like someone who owns a business, owns their house, and I'm paraphrasing. And he's like, well, then what I did was I just walked outside and everything in what is it called? Albia or I don't know is for sale. And he's like, so I bought this house, and he's like, now I'll go back and talk to her again. And I'm like, Who's got time?
Yeah, I know.
Who's got time?
I know.
You know, the one thing that stood out to me with the whole thing was when they said, like, you create a crime, like you shot the person, and then they said, like, oh, the gods will still keep coming until you run away. And I was like, oh, so they're just like unlimited show up. I'm like, it would be such a fableism if like you kill all the gods in the town when they come get you, and there's like a finite number, and now the town goes to shit. Like there's all crime now, and you come back to the town and it's all run down because you killed all the security there in your rant. But it looks like that you just keep killing them, and then you run away, and then you got a big bounty on you that you pay off, and they forget about everything. It was very kind of like, I was like, oh, a fable thing would be like the town now is corrupt because you kind of killed all their gods. And then you come back to it and people are homeless and all this crime. That would be cool.
What Jez is saying, see, that's correct. That's the correct way to look at RPG. See, people have this mythos or this like confused concept of like RPGs need to have all these bang around. No. All these animations, none of that. No one gives two shits. What you need, the foundation of a good RPG. Because if you look at the greatest RPGs to ever exist, there is a formula. Shout out to the guy who originally he does YouTube. He was the original Fallout New Vegas designer. He worked on it, and he worked on the original Fallout. Legend in the industry. Mm-hmm. And as he said, other devs need to listen to me. I need to sit down with them and tell them how to make an RPG.
Yeah, I saw this, right? Yes.
Because people don't understand. Number one is player agency. It is, and if you don't know what player agency is, go look it up. It's like, don't tell me what to do. Just give me a quest and let me go do it myself. However I want to do it.
Yeah.
If it's find the Holy Grail, that's your quest. Don't tell me where to go. Just say
no. That's fine. Yeah, I like that. DS.
The only thing with that, Death Singer, though, is again it goes back to the standards thing. That obviously there's a reason that BG3 put the time and the care and the attention into the character animations they did, because they obviously understand that in a game that heavily focuses around narrative and dialogue for vast amounts of the game, obviously the dialogue and the narrative and the acting being convincing is important.
It's important, right? Yes.
Same with Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. Why did they, of a game without even much budget, put such a heavy emphasis on how the characters emote? Again, because all of that stuff ties into the way that you enjoy the narrative and the characters. Even the clip I posted, the two clips I posted from BG3 and from Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, the facial animations are literally what sell the scene. Because when he catches his wife cheating with your comrade, right, and his face, he's like, oh my, Giuseppe! Like his eyebrows are raised, he looks fucking hilarious. If he walked into the room and was just bare, straight face, like, oh my God, Giuseppe, what are you doing? Like, you wouldn't hit. It just wouldn't hit. But because of the exaggerated emotions and the theatrics, that is why you find it funny.
That's the thing. Everything I've seen from Fable, everybody's very lethargic. They're just, their faces are just like, whether they're excited or they're not, they're just kind of like, you know, they're just
doesn't move. Their eyebrows barely move. Like,
but then again, it depends what you're talking about. Because, like, me personally, one of the best stories is the Pathfinder games. Now, there's no facial animations because there is no animations. Like, you never get a cutscene.
Yeah, but that's a different type of game. This has facial animations. What you're saying, you can't compare to a game that's like written dialogue and has no animations or acting to a game that does. Obviously, if you don't have that stuff, the expectation is not to do it well. But if you do have that stuff and it is a massive facet of your game, then there is an expectation to have a competent level of it, right?
Yeah, it's fair to say.
And Fable does have a competent level. It's not the best, but it's not the worst.
But this is the problem, though. DS,
I think it's the worst I've seen in like over a decade.
This is the third time we've had this conversation now. And DS, after the game releases, you say you've agreed too. You've said I enjoyed it, meaning yourself. You said I've enjoyed it, but you're like, I do see your point. I said this with Avowed. I said this with Outer Worlds 2, and you said both of those games for you were like, were very, very good. You're like, I do see where you're coming from. I do think it was a little. I think with Avowed, you said I expected a little more, or it was Outer Worlds, one or the other. You said I expected a little bit more. I didn't get that, but I still enjoyed the game for what it was because it gave me what I wanted from it. what Nib's saying here just falls in line with the Avowed. Us people in the chat were just calling it Avowed 2.0. That's a bit stretch. But I'm saying to you, like, I think that it falls into the Avowed Outer Worlds, and it's just that lifeless, like, the energy and the facial expressions that are supposed to come from this really do kind of offset a feeling on the gamer side. Now, I understand you may say that doesn't affect you, but it really does affect a larger audience. May not you, but like that's
it literally affected how I perceived that scene, because listen to actually what they're saying. Like, it's supposed to be funny and dramatic. They're talking about a talking pig and whether you kill him or not, right? And all the characters, because they look so dull and the lip syncing isn't correct and stuff, and it's like they don't emo. It's almost like you don't know like what the emotions are here, what the play is like. Is this guy angry, upset, whatever? And it just doesn't. It's not cohesive. It doesn't sell the scene.
And I don't want to.
What could have been?
I don't know. When I watched the scene with the pig, I was like, okay, yeah, you spared the pig, cool. Okay, great. Let's keep it moving. Like that.
Did you laugh? Did you have any emotion?
Well, no, it was just a quest. It's like, oh,
yeah, we go. Then watch imagine the same scene in like a KCD2. Imagine all the like scenes that are supposed to be funny in that game. They do literally make you laugh out loud because, again, the theatrics of it, the acting and everything is just so funny. Even the little bit in the clip that I shared, right, where he's like, oh, what should I do with this cheating wife? And then the main character, he like shakes his head. He's like, pretend to speak Italian. It's fucking hilarious. It reminds me of the scene from what's it called? Tarantino's film, the Nazi one.
Oh
yeah,
like,
in that scene where like they're trying to talk Italian. That's so exactly.
I personally didn't laugh at it. I didn't. It is what it is. It's like, that's cool.
Well, let me do this, guys, because this is going to turn into DS. This is your life. So hold on a second.
It's never going. It's never going to. But I already know what a lot of people's outlook is. The same way people have outlook on Clockwork Revolution, and it's like, see, I'm in a position I could talk about this. Like I could be in the.
I think Clockwork has better animations though.
Of my breadth,
it does definitely.
Of what an RPG is, right? Whether it be JRPG,
I'll take DS. Just to put it shortly though, like someone like I am not into. I do appreciate RPGs, not as much as you, not even close, right? But if you said to me, "Hey, Mooch, these games are both ready right now, Fable or Clockwork," I'm picking Clockwork.
That's fair enough. I mean, you have to.
Which would you pick?
RPGs, but
which would you pick?
I would personally, if I had two right now,
you only have one.
I'd play. I can only have one.
You can only have. They're both ready. You only get one right now. What are you playing?
Oh, that's tough. I'm
going Clockwork, and that's not just because of facial animations. I think the gameplay looks way more intuitive and fun. The facial animations, the script looks better. I like the steampunk era. I like all of it.
Yeah, I mean, it does have that going for it. If I had to pick, it's tough because it's like one has two different.
Oh,
games.
They are in a sense, but I just meant they're going to be RPGs, and you got
If I had to pick one to play first, Clockwork, sure. We'll go with Clockwork. I mean, it's hard to.
I think honestly, if I had to pick for you, I would have picked Clockwork because I know that you like both, but I think that Clockwork will hit. I think at the end, when you play both of those games next year, I do believe at the end you would give Clockwork a higher score than Fable.
I might do, because not all RPGs are made equally, but there's also an expectation I have from RPGs. It's like, for example, what would you pick, Persona or Yakuza, or would you pick Trails?
Right.
Any of the Trails games versus the Tales of games? Would you pick the Ys games over Final Fantasy?
I think that.
Would you pick Zelda over Final?
But those are all. But those are all
Persona, though, right?
But those
versus what?
Versus Tails and Ys and everything else.
To be honest, I'd rather have Trails.
Trails over Persona.
Trails over Persona, because Trails it's been with me a lot longer, and Trails.
Okay, fair enough.
But that's because as good as Persona is, and the story is great, and the characters are great. it's Persona. I know what I'm getting, kind of. Although this Persona 6 looks wild, so I don't know what I'm getting there. It looks like they've taken a dramatic tone shift.
So, fellas, let me do this real quick, because this is probably going to go 35 minutes. Let me just say, the OA says, well, as promised, here's me disagreeing with DS. So he goes, that's all right. It's okay. It's fair. Listen, DS, let people know they can find you, buddy. I do want to do an outro real quick. It's 11 o'clock here, and lucky for me, I get to get up in 6 hours to work.
Yeah, great show, and you can find me, playing games, and yeah.
Yo, shout out to DS. Yo, great freaking panel tonight. I got to tell you something. I know we went 4 hours, but I will say this one was actually it went much faster than the last couple of 4-hour ones. So I do have to give these guys credit. This was an unbelievable group. Shout out to the great Brap who stopped by. Shout out to J-Dub who had bounced a little bit earlier just now in the outros. The great Jez7780, and also Mag. You guys know him as Middle-Aged Game Guy. Go over and check out Mag as well. The great Nib as well, who came in and definitely laid it down. And thank you guys again for the super chats. We'll be back next Thursday, 7 p.m. Eastern. But again, Saturday morning, 11 a.m. We're over there on twitch.tv. Me, Blaze, and Lazy. It's Mooch. M00CH, drop the O's for zeros. It's right there in the description. You can copy and paste it right now. There's 260 people still here. 260 people. Hit that like button and please copy, paste that, and follow me over on Twitch. We'll see you guys next week. Thanks to this great panel. Thanks to this great chat. Go play some games. We'll talk to you guys next week.
Players all.
Peace.
Enjoy. Mooch, have you played Pragmata, by the way?